Right, well, we're at the Port Noarlunga Oval now, and the scores from that 1964 grand final, Chris, were Willunga 14 goals 8, defeated McLaren Flat 10 goals 6.
Yes, Q, I'd like to mention 4 players from the 79 side still playing today as they run out on the Oval. Brian Oster, of course, was there, Chris Hams, Chris Roberts and Marty Bayer. Q, you're in that, you were injured in 79, that final. How do you see the difference between the two sides as from 79?
Yeah, well, I was injured that year, Chris, unfortunately, in the prelim final, much the same as Glenn Reynolds is at the moment with a dislocated knee,
yes.
and I really can feel sorry for Glenn. I know the trauma he's going through. It's a very disappointing thing to miss out on a grand final. The difference between the two sides, as I see it, is we had a team of individual champions in 79, and this year we've got a team which is a champion team with consistent players all around the ground. One player worth mentioning in this side, though, Chris, is Chris Hams, who's, to this stage, has kicked 126 goals.
He's had 126 goals, and of course they were some magnificent effort. It's the first time, I think, in the history of the club that that's been done. I'm sure he's tickled pink about the whole thing.
Yeah, I think the guys are looking to Chris for a bit of leadership today, and I'm sure he won't let them down. Just a couple of other milestones today too, Chris, is that Marty Bayer is playing his 150th game for the club, which is also his 150th A-grade game, which is a marvellous feat for a bloke who's only 26. Bronny Reid playing his 100th senior game for the club, and it's just coincidental maybe, Chris, that Reid hasn't played in a winning grand final side at Willunga for 20 years. In fact, it was 1964 when Gary Reid played in the 64 side. We last went top, and let's hope that that's a good omen.
I know what sort of pressure young Reid's been under. I mean, he's got stress fractures in his back, and he's put in, he's made the concerted effort to be out there and made the trainings, and when it looked as if he was going to be bad news, he's still come out and made a worthwhile effort. Full credit to that guy for the amount of stamina. He epitomises this club, I think. The sort of the energy and activity that fella's put into it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Chris, and the young bloke on the other wing's not a bad little player either, in Leith Rennie. Early in the year he was pushing to get a place, and probably in the final series he's been our most consistent player, and he's a real find for us, and he's only about 19 years of age, so big future ahead of him there.
Before you run through the side, we haven't seen them, but the girls who formed the cheer squad, they've done a tremendous effort. They've got themselves well organised, their shirts printed off, and they've done a magnificent job before the games, and full credit to every one of those girls. I think that's marvellous. I
fully endorse those comments, Chris.
And also a little mention to the Guard of Honour formed by the senior primary side. They've went out undefeated right through the season, and full credit to those young lads. I mean, any strength of any club is part and parcel of your juniors, and I reckon the juniors have put in a magnificent feat, and let's hope that those young fellas stay with the club and keep on going. Yeah,
that's very true, and we had 3 kids who made the state SAPSARS side out of that team too, Chris, and that's an excellent feat. The umpires for today are Bob Burton and Dennis Guy, and they're 2 excellent umpires, and I think we're pretty happy to have these 2 blokes umpiring our side out there today. I guess we could just run through the players for Willunga, Chris, from 1 through. Starting with number 1 is Wayne Kavanagh. Wayne's only 19. He's come back to us from Sturt. He's a great player. He's got a good mark, good pair of hands. He likes to throw out the handball to the running player, and I feel that he and Chris form a 2-pronged attack, and he's going to be a very, very hard player to stop today.
Agreed. And of course, Leith Rennie, you mentioned earlier, he's a classy young lad. Came up through the B grade. Coach had a lot of confidence in his ability, and he's certainly proven that in these final series. I don't think I've seen him play better football as what he has these finals.
That's for sure. And the other player, of course, across the centre is Kevin Poulter, captain coach. And, you know, I've played under a lot of coaches in my time, but this guy's put more effort into coaching this team of football than any guy I've ever met. I've got a heck of a lot of admiration for him, both as a person and particularly as a footballer. Pound for pound, probably along with Bronny Reid, he would be the best footballer in country football that I've ever seen.
Well, you can bet they'll be tight on him, because they'll be expecting a big game from him, as all our supporters are expecting a big game from him. So it's going to be interesting to see just how much pressure is applied to Poltz today.
Sure, just in the rucking division, of course, we've got Des Perkins, who has played a great game last week. This was his home ground a few years ago. Great player, and along with the 2 good rovers in Phil Collins and Andy Wolford, who have done nothing wrong all year, I think we've got probably a winning, or I would hope we would have a winning ruck combination there.
Yeah, Phil Collins, Andy Wolford, they've combined well. They're starting to get their act together. I was talking to Andy the other week, and he said they've really got their act together now. They know what each other's thinking. They know where to run for that loose ball, and that combination's worked out magnificently. Marty Bayer, of course, at fullback has to be the key pin for the whole side, and that fullback. He's punched away. He's the most disciplined footballer I've seen this season. I watched every game, and I believe him to be probably the best fullback in the league, and I think he's been recognised in the past with his positions in association sides, and certainly he has to be a big threat, and I can't see a full forward beating him today, and I'll be very surprised.
Right, good support from Trevor Linke and Steve Perkins, a really great junior we've found this year.
Trevor was a forward player and a high marker. He loved taking the mark. He loved being in the play, but Trevor's had to learn to be disciplined. He's changed his style of game to punching away, and during the finals, he's certainly at his peak. He's enjoying his football at the finals more so than any other particular time of the season. And certainly his punching away is a real sort of Marty Bayer trait, and to have to switch your game late in the season to go and play back pocket, hats off to him. Yeah,
great effort. And Timmy Scholes and Clifford Flower doing nothing wrong on the half-back flanks.
No, Cliff Flower, coach has had a lot of faith in him. He mentioned on Thursday night that if he had 7 players to choose from, or it might have even been 6, that Clifford Flower would be in that side for his pure dedication, his pure energy, the amount of commitment that guy's got. He's prepared to listen and prepared to do the job that's asked of him. Tremendous.
Real player of the future. Half forward line, as I see it, with Brenton McDonald at centre half forward, he's a beautiful mark, strong pair of hands, very ably supported on the forward flanks by Chris Topper Roberts. Brian Oster and Rod Parsons as ruck rovers or followers on the other half forward flank. That's a very, very strong half forward line and full of runners and guys who kick the ball a long way.
Too right. And they'll be looking out for Brenton McDonald today, because if he gets into the play, they're finished.
The interchange players, Brenton Smith and Rick Belfield.
Good to see Rick there too.
Great.
Really is.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been those 26 players in that squad, and his commitment to the game is second to none, I reckon.
Yeah,
Ricky Belfield.
I don't think we're losing anything on the interchange. We've got 2 players who can come on and play most positions on the field.
Well, let's face it, it's the best team we could have fielded with, apart from perhaps Glennie Reynolds, and it's really hard to see where Glennie Reynolds has come into the side. I mean,
it's a nice way to have it, isn't it, Chris?
Yeah, it's terrific.
I know the players are. I can imagine that feeling. I remember the feeling in the grand final before the game in the room. That last quarter of the reserves match is probably the most terrifying time of your life. You just want to be on the field. You're just dying for this siren to go. I'm sure it's going to be a great game. The breeze is just about dropped off. Probably maybe 1 goal in it at the most,
well,
going towards the north.
Can't really fault the weather. I can't see it.
Right, here we are. Well, let's hope for the best now. And even at this early stage, the umpires are on top, and people are going in very hard. And here's the
first kick of the game.
Probably really opened up for us. Bit of anxiety coming into the game. Players have got to keep in front.
Drop back!
Yeah. What a play.
Good bit of play there by Bronny Reid.
Quick, slick handballs. That's what they'll be looking for him today, to win that hard ball and get it out.
That's right, yep.
And he can do it.
There'll be a lot of nerves in this early part of the quarter, Chris. There's a lot of tension out there, and it'll be the players who keep in front and probably compose themselves best that will probably get on top here. That was a fine mark by Tim.
Tim took a nasty knock on the knee last week. He's given him 15 metres.
The umpires
another 15. He doesn't watch it too.
Won't get out of the way. It's good play by Timmy Scholes, upsetting the opposition early. Unfortunately, it's a poor kick.
Good wall. Here. It looks a bit of trouble.
Oh,
well done, yes.
That's the benefit of this half-back line. They're beautifully balanced side. They've got good players all over.
Peter Maxfield out in the full. You don't see that very often from Pete.
That's true.
When he clears it, he usually makes it.
But it's stopped their play, and it's given our players a chance to recoup.
A loose man there. So I'm talking about Trevor's fist in there.
Right.
Not trying out.
They don't try and mark. That's right. They just spoil the ball away, and that's good football.
You got the Rovers to pick up those loose balls, so you don't need to go for the big one.
That's right.
I mean, Kevin was talking about it the other night. You don't need to You don't need to go for the spectacular thing. You go for the spectacular thing, you're going to come unstuck. I think Wayne Potter said something similar again on Thursday night too, something to that effect.
A lot of football experience amongst those two, which these boys are hopefully have taken notice of. I'm sure they have.
Nice mark over the top.
Yeah, Steve Perkins, for a lad who was probably only just a B grade at the beginning of the year, he's had an amazing transformation into a top-class back pocket player.
Well, he was a player who's destined to play A-grade football.
Sure.
When he was playing in the B grade, he was a player and a half. It was nice playing alongside him.
It certainly is. And here's another great little player, Andy Walford, giving a good handball away to centre half back, who sinks a long ball in. This is where
There's a chance.
This is where we have to make the most of every opportunity, because this Christies half-back line is a very, very solid line.
If those forwards are prepared to chase, as they have been, then we're in with a big show.
That's right, yeah. We can't let the good work the back line and centre line do come undone in the forward lines.
Gave away the free there.
Well, the boys so far are playing in front and they're getting the benefit. I just hope they can keep this up for the whole game and consolidate, settle down a bit, and I'm sure they'll go on with it. I really feel
this ball should go in long.
I feel our team is really capable of winning, Chris, and I'll be very disappointed if we don't.
You don't see them drop very often. Even the crowd subdued at this stage, Q.
They sure are. Gee, Andy Wolford started off
a lot of tension out there.
Burning. He's had about 5 kicks already.
So relaxed before the game. It's good to see. It's a sort of experienced player.
It's a big fly from Cav. Unfortunately, he didn't take it, but he'll recover. He'll get more.
Go to me! Go to me!
Nice mark by Christies Beach. Player number 4. Who's that?
Yep. Kelly Hill, yeah, Kelly's a good little footballer. There was a bit of doubt about his fitness before this game, but there's no doubt about it, he's certainly a skillful player, and we'll have to watch him fairly closely.
Just Sullivan putting in that ball, score the first point for the game. In fact, the first score for the game.
First score for the game. And we'll just see now whether Marty Bayer can continue his magic form of kicking out the ball. I would guarantee he'll land this one in the square if he gets onto it.
I wouldn't be part of that bet.
And he certainly hasn't let us down. Look at that for a kick.
Oh,
that's beautiful football.
Daddy Parsons loves to run, loves to shrug off the players.
Yeah, a player who could really open it up for us, Taddy. I know Christies are worried about him, and I'm not surprised. He's a great player. He was in the state squad that played in Western Australia last year. Unfortunately, he didn't make the team, but it's quite an honour to be one of 2 players from the Southern Football League to be picked in that state squad.
Exactly. Chris Roberts almost capable of goaling from that particular position too.
Right. Big fly from Mako. He went up a bit early, but what skills he's got.
Beautifully picked up by Andy
Wolford again. Geez, playing well early. Another big threat to Christies Beach is Oster. He's very, very strong mark, strong with the body. We really need him in this game. Had a few fitness problems, Aussie, in the past, but he's running out the last 3, and we'll be looking for a big game from him today.
Well, 33 years of age. May not have another chance at a grand final. He'd be thinking that.
Yeah, that's right. I wish him all the best in today's game. As you mentioned earlier, Chris Aussie's one of the 4 players in this side who part of that losing grand final side in '79, and he knows what it's all about, and there's no way he's going to let Christies get on top of him today.
We've had the ball down that forward position, so here's a big chance for Chris, number 127.
Yeah, he doesn't
expect the crowd to go wild when this happens too. She's over the other side.
Well, that's probably a vital goal early in the game. The boys have had a lot of the play. It's been in our forward lines, but we needed something to spearhead, and Chris has certainly not let us down, and I think that'll really get the guys moving now. They know that their spearhead is giving them something. They just get it down to him, and from now on, I think you'll find that the Willunga side will start running, start placing the ball a bit better, and I honestly believe that they'll build in confidence as this game goes on, and if they can get it down to Chris, we're in with a real big chance.
They won't be any short of adrenaline after that one.
That's for sure.
Bronny Reid, straight up.
Yep, great player, Bronny Reid.
Here's the chase. Here's the chase. It's so important.
sideways, he's going. He's hanging on.
Peter Maxfield. Bronny Reid too high. He'll take this free.
Yep. Benefit of being the man in front. And that's beautiful play from Andy Wolford too. Look at this. Back pocket player up to the centre. That's lovely running football.
The young Perts is known for that, and I know they were worried about his amount of rebound that he's got in that back line.
Sure, he's aggressive, he rebounds well.
Back pocket, he'll run up the centre, he'll run even further if he's got the run. And discipline, he'll get back on his player. He's got people like Marty Bard telling him to get back.
Yeah, he certainly will. He's a great little player. This is dangerous though. Well, there are two good sides playing out this, so we can't expect to have everything our own way, but we can certainly try and keep it possibly a bit tighter than that.
Glenn Fitzpatrick for Christies Beach. He's played the seconds, had experience.
Certainly is. Well, I don't think he's got that one, Chris. No.
Fortunately.
Well, we've got the very slight breeze. I really don't think it's making much difference, and I think that kick just epitomises that there isn't really a lot in this game as far as the breeze is concerned.
Well, with the amount of paper that's on the ground, there's certainly very little ruffle going from that.
That's right. And there's another beautiful kick out from Marty. That's almost hitting the centre circle. And here comes Bronny running. So that's beautiful football.
The handball again. 99 handballs.
Move it. Yours, Kev.
Played on experience there, and he's got that goal. Great goal.
Yeah, that's
great experience, great run.
And that started really from full-back with Marty with a beautiful kick out. Gave the big men the chance to push it out wide. Bronny Reid onto Poulter, onto Kavanagh. Didn't worry about the free kick and put it through for goal. And that's the beauty of Wayne Kavanagh. He's just so skillful. He can do everything right. He's got great hands if he needs in the air, and his recovery on the ground is second to none. Great passage of play.
Well, that's what they need to do. Run the ball, go for that handball. Their handball at training's been excellent. They look for the player. Very rarely the handball's come unstuck. You've got a guy like Bronny Reid who will never miss a chest with a handball. That's
right, and the feeling on the track this week, Chris, while guys were making mistakes, it was only anxiety, and they were trying things they've never done before, and it was really excellent training for this week in particular.
Into attack again through Pulse. Putting a lot of pressure on young Macca.
Yeah, the forward line's probably are still a little bit anxious at the moment. The back lines are running well, the centre line's running well. The forwards are probably trying to settle down pretty quick, but there's still a lot of anxiety over there, and Andy Wolford's giving them every opportunity, but possibly need more support for each other.
Come on, Jason!
And kick this to the open space.
Go, Timmy.
Timmy Scholl's run up from half back.
Yep.
One bounce at centre wing. Two. Three.
Timmy won't give up, neither will Bronny Reid. It's good football. Well, that just proves that Christies can run the ball just as well as we can, Chris, and we're obviously going to have to watch this because
Trevor lucky to get away with that one. Could have been in the back. It's that clearing kick that we need. Mac is up.
Beautiful rebounding play from Marty.
And Trevor, you have to go again. Nicely done. Beautiful. No, he's called it a throw.
Oh, he's a bit unlucky there. I thought that was a good handball. Trevor's been a very good player in the final series so far.
Well, he's certainly warm to that particular spot. I don't know whether he's like to be there, but he's certainly warm to the spot.
Well, I was talking to him Thursday night, and he doesn't mind playing anywhere in a grand final side. And
I don't think anyone would they?
Right. I wouldn't be surprised if this was Trev's last game, and I'd certainly love to win it for him.
I think anyone who had anything to do with the club would have loved to have been out in the track today.
For sure.
Wayne Potter, Thursday night. What did he say? Give my right arm to play.
Give both arms, I think he ended up saying.
One arm to play, both arms to coach.
Is that what it was? Yeah.
Trevor, got to turn a pace.
That's good.
He'll use it.
Good football.
Create the open space.
Setting up the running play.
He's been looking.
Yeah.
Macca.
There's no player in this league down here.
Well, he's got 15 here. This is a goal.
Yeah, when Chris
You'd like
Roberts
to have some money on the side with you?
Who's got it? Hamsy's got it. Oh.
No.
No.
Brent McDonald's got it. His first mark for the game.
Oh, that's good football. That's a goal. 3 goals. Brett McDonald's a playmaker in the side, and while that wasn't one of his screamers, he was in the right position. He's got a strong pair of hands. He takes the body coming at him very hard, as he proved then. He's not scared of anything, and he's one of the strongest players I've ever seen. And with a guy who can kick the ball like Chris Roberts, these two could provide a real bonus for us, and I'm sure they will.
Exactly, Q. Well, we're waiting for the ball to come back. Might be a spot to sort of mention our sponsorship for the year. We've had a very good sponsorship. I think they've got their money's worth this year. It's been tremendous.
Have, Chris, yep.
Southgate Realty's been right behind the club. I know they've got branches right throughout the state, and certainly they've got a lot of experience down at Southgate.
They sure have, and we've got a few other sponsors too, Chris, who we'll mention as the game proceeds.
Aussie, a little bit out of position. They're running on this flank to attack Christie's goals.
Yeah, they certainly are, and that's where you've got to be in front.
You have to come back.
Timmy's right on him at this stage,
No,
but he does have to get in front.
He's got the experience, he'll know. Recovered well from that nasty knee he had last week.
Certainly did. He's a fine player,
nice
Timmy
punch.
Scholes.
Players at the fall of the ball. And that's going nowhere. Well, I'll take that back.
Yeah, that's probably a little unfortunate. Marty came out to meet the ball and was caught in no man's land. Made a good attempt to get it, but didn't quite get there. And going on from the sponsors, Chris, of course, another major sponsor of ours is the Alma Hotel. They've provided us with best player dinners for the A and B grade all year, and they've given us so much sponsorship in the form of dinners, putting on shows for the play last Thursday night. There was a fantastic feed, and Peter and Judy Arnold are certainly appreciated by everybody in this club. They really are fine sponsors of the club, and all the players certainly appreciate them.
I enjoy having a drink down there.
That's for sure.
Reno. Some people are surprised to hear why he was called renal. Is because he operates on one kidney.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that myself, so it's taken 6 years to find that out, but I'm glad I have.
Well, just a little bit of information. Wally May would do the same.
Oh, beautiful play by Oster there. Skill of Kavanagh. Oster, look at the desperation.
He'll bury it.
Yeah.
He'll bury it.
Ooh, a little bit of unnecessary knee work going in there, but Aussie won't feel it. That was great work. Desperation. It's what we need in the forward lines.
Aussie was running a little bit blind then, I think. He couldn't see where the ball was and decided to take down the player for safety.
A few nerves, I think, still, Chris.
Des Perkins right in with this.
Yeah.
Stay on your feet.
That's a lovely handball by Chris Roberts.
It's a beautiful handball. Need her over. He's got the pace.
Gee, some desperate players in there.
Well, that ball's been down in our forward area quite a few times.
Yeah, we're making the most of opportunities. 3 straight goals, but
they're putting a lot of pressure there.
Yeah, they sure are, but a few more would be nice. Oh, lovely tap by Macca. Good smother. What can Andy do this time? He's done everything right so far. He won't give up.
Young Lee Rennie, get out that handball. That's the ball.
Yep. That's the benefit of being in front, Chris. You get the benefit of the umpire's decision, and Cav could just about give this one a ride.
Well, he'll certainly go for a score.
And gee, he played a great game last week, Chris. 5 absolutely towering marks in the goal square, and we'll hopefully be looking for a similar performance today.
Well, it was good tactics last week. They had Hambo, a lot of pressure on Hambo, and he'd run in front and he'd jump in front and he'd pull down those marks in front of Hambo when they were least expecting it. And that sort of was a great lift to our side to win that game.
Sure was.
Going fully confident today.
Well, that's the first behind. A bit unfortunate. It probably allowed a little bit much for the wind. Would have been about 45 metres out from that one, and there is a slight cross breeze, and probably at around about a 45-degree angle. So they look easy from here, but they're certainly not, particularly in the first quarter of a grand final.
We haven't had a happy history on this ground, but different side, different ball game.
Right, and the umpires have caught something up here, a bit of shepherding behind the play. And, gee, we're certainly getting a good run here, and I sure hope the boys can go on with this and appreciate the fact that if you get in front, you get the freeze.
Willunga, 3-goal-1. Christies Beach, 1-goal-2.
It's a lovely kick.
For another point.
Lovely kick from Andy, but just slightly off line, and that was a tight one. He was right on the boundary, about 40, 45 metres out. Good kick from a small player, but then again, he's a very, very strong kick.
Traditionally, this has been a fairly dead pocket, hasn't it?
Yeah, it sure has.
So we're attacking from the right side, so that's, and they realise then they're kicking out to this flank, expecting to bottle it up if necessary.
That's right. And so far they've been reasonably successful, and this stage I've got one player going off. Can you pick him up?
Peter Overall. No, I think he might be being moved.
Looks like it's a dislocated finger, and they hurt. He'll probably drop a bit of confidence for that. A lot of ball ups early, but that just proves the aggression that both sides are putting into this game.
Come on, Reds! Are you ready? Show them up there! Go, Topper.
Nice hip and shoulder.
Geez, some desperate bodies going in there too.
And someone's lost a boot there too.
Keep talking in there.
That's the beauty of Bronny Red. He was on the bottom of that pack, and a little while ago he was in the back pocket. Now he's up the forward pocket, and he's not scared to run the full length of the oval.
Oh.
And that's one reason he averages about 35 touches a game. He's a prolific kick getter and a beautiful handballer.
It's good to see the amount of pressure being applied in the forward lines by our players
sure
too.
is.
There's no easy balls coming out, and from the point of view of a backman, that's nice to see. It sort of really encourages, you know, that the players up forward are doing their job and more.
Probably an unlucky decision, but let's hope Poltz can forget that one and get on with the game now.
Short pass.
Short pass in the back lines. It's not necessarily good football, although it's come off this time. And Christies are very indirect at this stage.
Nice,
and
strong
that certainly won't upset our players.
He'll take him anywhere. He'll take him on his chest, over his head.
He's had a great final series, Chris.
He certainly has. Sort of came in for a bit of criticism, perhaps, during the course of the season. But
that was one of those flies by Wayne Cabinet. Didn't quite hold it, but by gee, he can get up high, and normally he does hold those marks, and I'm sure he'll start grabbing a few soon.
Tapped it down. It's a smother. Ball's been bustled. No work this flank again. No work it out.
He's a good player with the ball now, and Ken Applegarth for Christies. He's a very, very hard player. Very experienced.
It's a benefit of pressure. Put a lot of pressure on those guys to force them out.
Actually, I'm a bit
surprised.
He's not
only lost his shoe now, he's lost his sock.
I'm surprised to see Applegarth in the back lines. I think they must be very worried because he's definitely one of their playmakers and normally plays in the forward lines. They must be worried to have him playing in the back lines.
Change their style. Cliff Flower.
Yeah, Cliff Flower's been a bonus this year. Played the first game in the reserves and hasn't looked back since he's getting into the A grade in the second.
Rennie applied a lovely tackle and got the decision.
Got
holding the ball. He'll take this kick.
And by gee, this kid's got a great future. Only 18 years of age.
Wobbly kick, and that's a nice mark.
There's not many people can outmark Brett McDonald.
Richard Harrington. Let's put that player's name. Went to play on.
Go, Wall. Come on, go with him.
Rush that ball out. There's a body of walls there. Trevor Linke. Stevie Perkins. He'll bury that boy.
There's a player bare feet out there. I don't know if he's Zola Brudd's brother or what, but the kick sure looked like it too.
Best thing to do, Kev. Cut the jokes. Best thing to do. Rush that one through for a point. Took no chances on that.
I'd hate to see that player get his foot trodden on right now, Chris. I think they might be one play short for the rest of the game. Wonder if Timmy knows that.
I'm surprised they let him go this long. That boot came off about 5 minutes ago.
Look at that. Another beautiful kick out from Marty Bayer.
Have you on, Tim?
Well, he's got it again. Certainly not withholding his pace by any means. Good use of handball here by Christies. Yeah, well, if that was our side, I would have said bad luck. There was very, very good use of handball, and our back line was a little bit lucky to get away with only a point on that occasion. I think they're going to have to tighten up a lot more.
Well, 1-4 to Willunga's 3-2.
Well, Marty's had 3 beautiful kicks so far. What can he do this time? Well, look at that.
What would I give the kick like that, Q?
Take you and me 2 kicks each, I reckon, Chris. Look at the desperation. Yes. Unlucky.
No, came over the top. It was not popular with the crowd, that decision, but he did come over.
Yeah, and speaking of the crowd, Chris, I reckon it's a 90% Willunga-oriented crowd here today. There's amazing support for the team, and the whole town of Willunga's down here today, and players who played 20 years ago and people who I haven't seen in 6 years down here. And it's really great to see all the red and white jumpers that the girls are wearing, and just the red and white generally is fantastic. Too
right. Well, we have to be sentimental favourites, but let's hope we're not overconfident from that point of view. It's yet another point.
Well, I'm sure the boys out there aren't worried about who the sentimental favourite is. They're out there to win a game of football.
I wouldn't care less if they had only 10% support, I don't think, but it's nice to see all these red and whites congregated in this particular part of the ground.
Most of these lads, of course, are locals, as you know, Chris.
Come on, reach up!
Well, Christies are peppering away at the moment. Luckily for us, they're not kicking too many goals. 1 goal 6, Christies Beach, 3 goals 2, Willunga. And what slight breeze there is we have got, so we should be capitalising more. And that's an absolutely magnificent kick. That is out to the centre.
It's over Trevor's head.
Well, the nerves should be wearing off by now, but
just slog it out now. That's how they got there, by pure slog, and that's the way they'll do it today if they're going to win.
That's right, and they shouldn't become too complacent about this Christies team. They go crossways across the ground and they'll go backwards to keep possession, but regardless of what they do, we've got to keep with them. They've done their homework on our team, and we have to be good enough to beat them.
Well, Trevor will run it out. Trevor's got a nice turn of pace. So,
yeah, unfortunately, it's a poor kick.
That landed in Hill's arms.
That's probably been Trev's biggest downfall this year. He's run out of defence extremely well on lots of occasions, but his delivery has let him down on more than one, and I know that it's something he's disappointed with and something he does work on very hard.
Out of bounds on the full. Down in the Christies Beach forward pocket area, the western side.
Marty Bayer's got it again. See what he can do with this kick.
I think he'll put it straight down the centre, and that's what he does.
Well, Macca's
almost makes a square. Macca's come up from centre half forward to grab that one. It should have been too high. More bodies.
Yeah, very unlucky, I think. There,
very unlucky.
Christies player deserved the 3, but there were probably a couple there earlier. But the umpires will be just as nervous as the players at this stage.
There's a beer punch.
Yeah, that's a bit unlucky. You have to be in front, particularly when they're kicking in. Let them get in front, kicking into this slight breeze, the ball will drop, and we have to come over the top, and that's the result, regrettably. And I'm sure Desi knows exactly that that's the case, and that won't happen again. This is a goal to Christies. Willunga 3 goals 2. Christies 2 goals 6.
Runners out the ground. Terry Corcoran, been running all year. Prominent club man now. Just giving Trevor a little bit of advice. Stay in front. Keep hitting. Keep slogging at it. Keep running. Watch your kicking.
And what a great guy Corks has been for the club. He's club president and only his 2nd year with the club. A former top umpire down here. He sponsors the cheer squad girls with their T-shirts. He puts an enormous amount of time and effort into this club. Plus he's A-grade runner, chairman of selectors. I don't know where the guy gets all the time, but by gee, he's been a real bonus for this club, and we're very, very lucky to have him.
Sure, boys, I'll have one with you, mate.
Christies work the ball out this flank.
Yeah, they're using Kelly Hill pretty well at the moment. They know he's a runner. They're not scared to use him.
He's got a turn of pace, and perhaps Timmy Scholes is going to be sorely pressed to keep up with him today.
Yeah, although Timmy's a great player, he doesn't give anything away.
He's got a heart as big as Muhammad Ali's fists, I reckon.
Showing his class there, that's good.
Toffel will take that one, and he might get a 15 on top of that. He has, and rightly so. Toffel will use this, and he'll go for goal.
I think so. He's.
I'm surprised they're not saying steady it.
Yeah, I'll
Right, so he pushed it.
He'll give this a real ride. He's about probably 65 metres out, slide angle, and that's a lovely kick.
Magnificent kick.
Well, that ball probably covered 70 metres, missed by about a yard or a metre in these days. But what a kick.
Needed the bounce then.
Yeah,
because Mega did the right thing. He sort of knew he couldn't get to it and shepherded out. And the ball just didn't bounce right.
And this is where Christies are playing their short game again. Chris, they don't care which way they go as long as they keep possession.
I agree, but I don't. It's not effective finals football. You've got to be in attack, and against their forwards, I think it could be a mistake.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if their runners were saying, "Let's get it out a little bit further. Let's kick it a little bit further on."
That's right. They're only on the half-forward line, but there it is.
Okay.
Well, there's a lot of funny business going on here now. It's first one way, then the other. Tempers are starting to fray early. It's silly football.
I don't know. I would say that Pulse is a bigger actor than you, Q, when it comes to the cut. That's a nice mark. It's probably
I taught him a bit
mark there.
That is. That's Macca's strength. When he gets in front, he gets those hands on that ball. He doesn't let go. He'll give this a chance. He's about 50 yards out on a very tight angle. It's a lovely,
I think he's got this one.
What a beautiful kick.
Tremendous. That's what we need. That's what the boys needed out there. They know if they can keep on attacking, they can keep on throwing their body in there, they're going to win it. They're going to win it because they've got the tenacity. It's just pure guts football.
That's right.
How has this side mellowed over the years?
You're right.
When I first came to Willunga, there was a lot of criticism about players not committing their bodies. There are players even out there today who've come under fire in the past for being shirking back on the issue. But I tell you what, in the A and B grade this year, there have been no shirkers. There have been bodies, people prepared to commit themselves, and well, it's there.
Very strong club this year, both sides, as you said. 26 players in the A-grade squad who any one could have easily filled an A-grade berth, and probably were a bit unlucky, a couple of players to miss out.
He's playing well, this Hill fellow. Picked up that free for kicking in danger. The sun's in Maxie's eyes then, so that sun is coming over our backs here, Q.
A little bit of inconsistency with the umpiring probably at the moment, but they've got a very hard job to do. Then again, Chris, we're biased too.
Yeah, of course. All right, this will be a long kick out now.
Yes, Steve, that's the beauty of Steve Perkins.
Chris Roberts can take this. Hill again.
Oh, great play by Timmy Scholes.
Fighting it out. Nice hip and shoulder there.
Phil Collins has certainly been a fine recruit this year. And Cliff Flower.
Cliff lucky to get away with that one though.
What a player Cliffy is. Yeah, a bit lucky, but he was going for the ball. Welcome, Brian, and how do you see the game so far?
Thanks, Mick. It's very traditionally a grand final. There's been a bit of scraggy play and a lot of errors made early. But I think Christies probably would be fairly pleased with that. They had a lot of ball. They probably misused a lot of it. Could have kicked a little straighter and perhaps going into the breeze, even been in front at quarter time. But, gee, they're a young side. They got a lot of enthusiasm, Willunga, and Kevin Poulter again at quarter time out there asking him for just a little bit more. And this is a big quarter. Christies pull away this quarter, they make it hard. If Willunga have another big quarter at half-time, they've got themselves a whole new ball game again.
Yeah, so different side than 79, Rowie.
Yeah, a lot different. We relied perhaps on the one or two very strong key players. Didn't have as many runners. But as you look around the ground there and you see the Andy Wolfords, the Collins, the Parsons, and even young Brent McDonald at centre forward. I remember we had Jumbo in that position in 79, right. A very solid, strong player, whereas Brendan, of course, far more mobile. But, gee, what a marvellous goal he kicked in that first quarter from tucked into that pocket.
He's been a good player for us all year. Out with South Adelaide earlier in the year, came back to us, but I think we might lose him again to South next year, and he's certainly providing everything we've asked of him this year.
Well, he's got a big future. In fact, I think back, Mick, just as the quarter starts, that possibly there are about a half a dozen boys out there that might even remember the 79 final. Wolford, Oster.
No, Woolley wasn't there. There's four, actually.
Four of them?
Yep. There's Oster, Hams, Marty Bayer, and Chris Roberts are the only four from that. Although Andy Wolford and Bronny Reid came in the year after that, 1980, your second year as coach. I was mentioning to Chris Leach earlier, Rowie, that Reid hasn't played in a Willunga Grand Final side for 20 years, and the last time a Reid played, we won. And we've got Bronny out there today, so that's a good omen, I feel.
Oh, we look for all those omens, Mick.
Marty Bay's kicking out beautifully.
Yes, Marty's apparently had a boomer last week. I didn't see the game, but from what people said, he played a marvellous game.
Yeah, he's developed into the best full-back in the league, in my opinion.
He's a very hard man. He gives 100% all the time, and in fact, I think back again to 79. I think we had him at centre half back that year. And gee, stuck with the club and playing some very fine football even still.
Yeah, it's his 150th game for the club today too, which is a great effort.
And Bronny Reed's 100th as well.
Yep, that's right.
Wouldn't it be nice to cap two milestones like that off with a win in a grand final? I'd say the champagne would be flowing tonight at Willunga if it happens too, Mike.
I would hope so.
Russell, away. If you don't want it. Pretty good at the moment. Go towards it. Run, Maxie!
Played Phil Collins, lovely shepherd there.
Yeah, it was, and the guy who got the ball might be unfamiliar to you, Rowie. It's Peter Maxfield. He has been centre-half back in the Great Southern League for a number of years. One of our two recruits this year. Yep.
Yes, that's right.
And by G's been a bonus at centre-half back.
He's a lanky-looking boy, isn't he?
Does everything in slow motion, but by G's effective.
Chrissy Roberts. Come on, Hamsy, what about you now?
Yeah, they'll be paying close attention to Chris and Kevin Poulter.
That wind seems to have dropped, Mike, as I have a bit of a look around. It doesn't seem quite as strong as it was, especially in that reserves game. Still appears to be favouring that pocket, but perhaps not the influence on the game it had early. So maybe that couple of point lead, or that goal lead that Willunga have got at the moment might be just a little more than what we think.
Yeah, it could be pretty handy. It's always nice to be in front, even if it's only a point in front. It's all you've got to be at the end of the game, and at the moment we're in front, and hopefully they'll have to chase us all day.
Chase, boys, chase.
Ready? Get it moving. He doesn't want it. Go, Lynx. Go, Lynx.
Oh, Kevin Poulter.
Yeah, hard man. Probably the most nervous player on the ground at the moment.
Be lovely to see him play well too, and to win it.
Fantastic.
He put a lot in. There's Brent McDonald again, you know, a chap probably not even touching on 6 foot, doing the ruck work, jostling for front position, receives the free kick.
It gets back to what you teach schoolboys, Rowie. You get in front, you get the free kicks.
Gee, he's lining up like he's got a chance. I think it might be beyond him. And in front
Yeah, this is bad football by the forwards then. They expected everything from him and didn't give him any assistance. And they're letting it out far too easily this time.
Hamsy must be keen, he's chasing. Unlike Big Chris.
Yeah, Chris is fit this year. Well, I guess if you're in the grand final on a good day, you've got to hold him.
Hard, Chris, bad luck.
We'd be a little bit worried, I think, in the moment if I was Poulter in the forward lines. There's not a lot of aggression up there, particularly as they come out.
Yeah, it's coming out a bit too easy.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know, the amount of times too that you know, with the marking power of Chris, that we haven't hit that ball to the square, perhaps from 40 and 50 metres out. We tend to have gone short and fiddled around a bit. Oh, he's paid that strike.
Quite a few biased supporters down at Willunga these days too, Brian.
Oh, indeed.
But I guess they're good to have. You need
One
them.
of the most biased of all, Robbie Bartell down there, having his couple of bobs worth to the umpire.
That's right.
Desi. He's got him. Oh.
Grab him.
He's paid it here, I think. He's paid holding the ball. We missed the whistle.
Yeah, good decision.
Why did he call the right decision the first time, you mongrel?
Robbie Bartell becomes a League Life member next year. Rowie, 100 games in 10 years of footy, and it's a fantastic feat for Robbie. He's a great club man, and no one deserves it more.
Club man, exactly. You wouldn't find a man on and off the field give quite as much. He's done it for so many years. A lot of people come and go in football clubs, and yet Robbie's been there continually, every working bee, and that'll be a tremendous reward for all his efforts.
For sure.
played Timmy Scholes there. For a very aggressive play, young Tim, a couple of times in that first quarter, under all odds, threw himself in packs on the floor, and marvellous. Gee, when they get running, that's the hard thing, Christies, isn't it?
Yep, sure is. They know how to do it beautifully.
And
Gee,
he's
they're
done
off.
it again. Gee, they've kicked badly.
Yeah, 2-9.
Yeah.
2 goals 9 Christies, 4 goals 3 Willunga.
Yeah, I think Coach Potts would be worried about that. I suppose you can't be disappointed the fact you're touching the ball as much as Christies are. They're probably, I'd say, got the ball more than 50% of the time.
Yep.
They're not capping it off. Marty Bay to kick out, and again a lengthy boot. Oh, Linky.
Yeah, he's certainly been a fine player this year.
Yeah, and the boys, look, it's good to see too. Flooding down the ground. Kevin Poulter and the running players have got now down to where the ball is. Kavanagh from behind. We had no one in front.
Yeah, 2 players up against each other, which is silly football.
That's courage, young fella.
Yeah.
That's well played.
Yeah, he was lucky probably to get a game in the B grade in the first game this year, but by gee, he's been the find of the year. Fantastic footballer, Steve Perkins, and he's got a big future ahead of him.
Gee, they use that handball effectively, Christies.
Yep.
You've got to put pressure on the man with the ball, and possibly, Mick, in that first quarter, for probably the first almost 15, 20 minutes of it, Willunga did just that, and then it was in the last 10 minutes that they got their flowing game going, Christies.
That's right.
And again, in this first 10 minutes, the pressure, Willunga have been out of hold, haven't let them get their running game going, and we start to hit that danger period now with probably about 15, 20 minutes left where you've got to continue this pressure, and if you don't, a running side like Christies will get away from you, and they'll kick 2 or 3 quick ones and then start to flood into their holes and in the open, and it's a pretty crucial time, and Coach Poulter's aware of that because at quarter time he was pointing out the hard work needed. But it's a matter of just sustaining that pressure.
And of course we've got to get up and score a couple into the breeze ourselves. We can't rely on the wind to win the game for us.
No, well it's 1 goal of difference only at the moment. Be nice to... Gee, as we speak, Michael, I think that breeze is even almost turning around a little bit more across the ground,
yeah,
than it's
certainly
been
looks
earlier.
like it. You can see by the paper on the ground that the wind's probably not favouring anybody just at the moment.
Been very impressed with the aggression today, Michael. Even from players perhaps not generally known for their aggression. People like Trevor Linky and people like this have really contributed today.
Well, I guess that's what grand finals are all about.
Has it snuck in? Yes, it has.
Well, let's tie it up.
Level.
3 goals 9 Christies Beach, 4 goals 3 Willunga.
Come on, ready! Come on,
well, thanks very much, Brian, for your comments. We'll catch you later in the game.
No problem.
And hopefully we'll be a little bit further ahead by that time. Thanks very much.
I see that Leachy's just lubricated the voice box, and he's no doubt ready. And thanks, Michael, for the opportunity.
Fine, thanks, Brian. That's a much better movement out of centre, but we're still lacking a couple of runners up forward. Chris Hamson isn't getting a lot of assistance up there.
Good to see Brian Rowe coming back, isn't it?
Oh, great, Chris. Yeah, fine.
Come back. He's come back. He's been a stalwart of this club for so long. He'd be just as tickle-pink as any of these supporters here today, even though he's thousands of miles away.
Yeah, he's certainly a very popular man at the club when he was here, and a lot of people remember the days of Brian Rowe with a lot of joy. And it's great, as you said, to see him here. Very good football brain, and we look forward to his comments later in the game.
Exactly, and it's good to see his wife Sue here today too. You know, came down with Brian.
That's right, and just that then, Chris, was an example of Christies aren't afraid to handball backwards to get the ball running.
No, they've been doing that a lot, haven't they?
Yeah, they've been doing it a lot, and we're not waking up to it too well at the moment. People have said we're top-heavy in the forward lines and haven't got enough runners. We proved that we had the runners in the first quarter, and we've got to keep doing it all day.
This is the thing that coach was saying at quarter time. You've got to check. We can't have just these passages of play, and that's what's seemingly happening at the moment. We run it for a while, and then we just relax a little bit too much.
That's right. We've got the loose man now, and just let's hope we can capitalise on this.
Kev puts it in. Not
a good kick.
It's a short. They're not afraid to go short. Not afraid to go short out of those back lines.
And I don't know where our running players are. I mean, one of the rover on his own in the middle of the ground. It's not good football.
Nice mark, Cliff Flower. He's been doing that. Coming up with the handy mark just at the critical moment. 2 or 3 players jumping against Brent McDonald.
Come on, you left it. Come on, take it off.
Should have taken that. Trevor Linke throwing himself into that ball.
Trevor Linke playing a great game at this stage. Probably our best player, I would say.
Give him something.
Just steadying down play a bit. A nice step forward.
Mandy Wolford's playing a good game too. That's fine football.
Took it around his body.
Well, Chris Shaw isn't getting everything his own way today, but by gee, he's trying hard up there, and I'm sure he'll get more as the game progresses if he just keeps that attitude going, and if they can get the ball in a bit better than that to him. He's a potential match winner, and we have to get the ball up to him more direct than that.
Exactly. Chris likes the ball being delivered. Quarter time, the message was, put that centre that ball, get it in long to Chris, and he'll finish it off. But it's got to come in right.
Well, he's kicked 127 goals for the year so far, Chris, so he's doing a lot of things right, and let's just hope the players remember that.
Ball being run out of bounds on the eastern side of the oval in the forward pocket for Willunga.
The score now, of course, Willunga 4 goals 5, Christies 3 goals 9.
Haven't made the most of their chances. That 9 points could be a telling factor for Christies.
Yeah, it's all right to say that Willunga haven't got most of the play, which is probably true at this stage, but we are still in front. We've got to stay there.
Grab it! Gonna get out there and help him! Jesus. Oh, my God,
The famous punch we've come to know and love.
Yeah, Marty Bayer doesn't do much wrong, and he's certainly playing another great game today.
Over again. Go, Jimmy. Come on, go, Red. Go!
It's good play by Parsons.
Yes.
That's a lovely handball.
Hirano, ball set right. Handball a bit blind, but he was under a lot of pressure. And he's called it in the back. Phil Collins will take this kick and line up for goal.
Gee, we had to work hard for that one. It should come a lot easier than that. But
so that's the way they've done it all year, Q.
Yeah, it is.
We've had to move it like that. We've just persevered. We've run, and that's the secret of a good side. Players who are prepared to run, players who are prepared to do all that hard work.
And Phil's been a great little player. He does a lot of hard work that goes unnoticed. He bullocks with his body. He's not scared to chase. He's a great tackler, and he's been a fine recruit this year. And there's another short kick out. We're not waking up to this at all.
Christies have just taken off number 10, Francis Murphy. Replaced him with John Goldfinch. Trevor Linke pick him up. Barra for that ball. That's they're really throwing themselves in there.
Yeah, I think the boys sense a little bit of urgency now. They realise that we're not quite getting the run of the ball the way we'd like to. Christies is throwing a lot at us in the back lines.
Well, we haven't added that many points. Hadn't added a big score. Steve Perkins.
Oh, that's a great handball out.
They'll run this.
Outrun the little wimp.
Christies picks it up. Puts in a centre half forward. Marty's in front of his man. Gets one hand to it. Steve Perkins. There he goes. Effective handball. Bronny Reid shrugs that off. Puts
What
it
a
out
class
there.
player.
There's the players there.
Got the run of it now if we can only get it. There's that tackling of Phil Collins. He won't let players get away from him. And there's Phil Collins again. What great football.
To Brian Oster. Brian Oster, handball. Wayne Kavanagh just couldn't pick it up.
Bad bounce for Kavanagh.
He
won't give it away. What a good effort. But unfortunately, the ball's delivered pretty well too.
Timmy Scholes takes a nice mark under a lot of pressure from behind. They're having a good duel, these two.
They certainly are. And Tim possibly is getting slightly on top now.
Stay down, Leaf! Stay down, Leaf! Come on! You stop him, Leaf.
Number 16, Robert Tucker.
Yeah, that was a strong mark. Gee, Bronny Reid goes in hard. He's got another high tackle. Won't worry, Bronny.
Well, he gets those frees.
Fine handball out to Marty.
24 kicks last week, Q.
24 kicks, that's a great effort. Now, I think he had about 10 handballs from memory as well.
Good mention on the bench that Wayne Potter is on the bench, giving his advice, helping out. Kevin has obviously got a lot on his mind as well.
Sure, it's great to have Wayne there. He's a very
handy to have.
Handy man to have.
Trev looking for front position. Timmy coming over the back, pushing it out.
Yeah, good understanding in the back lines. Back lines are playing very well at the moment. They're not doing much wrong at all.
We need a goal though, Q.
It's a great tap down by Desi. But no one can get it away, unfortunately.
Des gets the tap. He's been getting a fair percentage of the taps during the year.
It's another good tap by Des.
15-yard penalty.
Yeah, silly play by Christies.
Moves the ball on quickly. Oh, a nice bit of luck. And there's a goal. Brian Oster, shark that pack well, just like a rover. Big man, as I said, 33 years of age. And look what he does.
Yeah, what a beautiful running goal. And fine work by Brett McDonald. He forced a Christies player to punch. Oster read it beautifully off hands and sank a beautiful goal from about 50 yards out on the run on a very tight angle. And Willunga needs more of that sort of play. The score at the moment, Willunga 5 goals 6, Christies Beach 3 goals 9.
Prepared to run, prepared to back up. That's football, isn't it?
That certainly is, and that was a fine example. It's back in the centre. Another good tap by Des. He's really starting to get on top this quarter. Pulse is starting to back turn a little bit. He tends to overdo the handball at times and get us into trouble. He should have kicked it on that occasion.
Christies takes it over the eastern half-forward flank for Christies Beach.
Yeah, Christies certainly seem to have the numbers to the ball. Why our players aren't picking them up man-to-man across that centre, I'm not quite sure. We are trying to create the spaces, but they certainly seem to have numbers at the ball at this stage.
Andy Wilford snuck out that handball.
Yeah, and a lovely mark taken by Chris Roberts. He'll be looking for Hamsey way downfield.
Hamsey's on the lead.
And what a lovely kick. What a beautiful kick. Unlucky not to mark it, just touched.
All he could do in those situations. You don't want to back turn all the time.
Oh, it's in our forward pocket.
New roll for Hamsey going up and ruck.
Yeah, I think he thought he could grab that one off the back of the pack then. But once again, the player in front's going to get the free. If you're on the bottom of those packs, you're always going to get the umpires, the benefit of the umpire's doubt.
Leith gets it in, but it's marked by a Christies Beach player.
Yeah, a little indirect, but he was under a lot of pressure. It was a good effort by Leith Rennie, fondly known as Bucko. The reason for that one, Chris, do you know why he's known as Bucko?
No, go ahead.
Oh, I don't either. I guess we'll try and find out before the end of the game.
I'm not interested. Wayne Kavanagh got the knock that time. Because Wayne in second ruck today.
Yeah, and there's no pressure. No pressure on Christies in our forward lines, which is really a bit poor. Then they got that out far too easily.
Trevor doing everything he can to unbalance his player. The umpire's going to have yet another bounce up.
Gee, the back lines aren't doing anything wrong, Chris, but I feel that the half-forward line is letting them down at the moment.
Well, I think we're winning the rucks, Q.
Oh, we've
got the percentage of the taps.
Yeah, the
Collins sharking in there. He's going to get the free.
Yeah, both rovers are playing fine games, and Des Perkins is doing everything right. The centre line's playing quite well.
Reading that again very well, and he'll hold on to that for another bounce down.
Yeah, Mac is certainly competing hard. He's doing everything he can. Aussie's starting to come into the game now, which is great to see.
It's a nice handball. A nice tap, rather. Christies clears.
Gee, that's an unlucky bounce there, but who's here? Stevie Perkins, Mr. Reliable.
Perkins will shrug off that player. Look
Good
for the
football.
handball. You've got to get away,
rid of it. That's a lot better.
Puts it out. Toff Roberts. Just got
Good
the
bounce
set
for
that player.
Christies. And they've got to run on now. This is big trouble for us. Unless Maxi can stop him, but no. That's a goal. The scores are 5 goals, 6 Willunga, 4 goals, 9 Christies. 3 points in it. The breeze is pretty well stopped. There's definitely nothing in it. It's a beautiful day. A few clouds.
I don't think the players are really thinking about the breeze out there, and if they are, they've been told in the past to sort of ignore the breeze. The breeze means nothing really when it comes to finals football.
That's right.
Come on, Reddies! 3 more!
The only time I remember the breeze was a critical factor when we last time on this Port Noarlunga Oval, we were playing Port Noarlunga, and it was a shocking game because of the breeze that was coming in across the ground.
Your ball, Dan!
Of course, we lost that one,
Nice,
but
Dazzy, Perkins!
well, we're in the grand final.
Well done, Ted.
Taddy leaned over right time then, I think.
Yeah, I don't think Des has lost a tap so far. He's doing an absolutely magnificent job in the ruck. And that's a much better kick into the forwards. It gives the forwards a chance to sit.
That's the way. Macca
can
did
get in
everything
front.
right. Exactly. Made front position. And that's where he likes it.
That's how they has to be delivered if we're really going to start pulling away.
He's pulled that one across his body.
Yeah, Mac was probably about 50 metres out on about a 60-degree angle there. It's they're always hard to kick. He gave it a good ride, but slightly offline for a point.
A lot of points being scored in this game.
Yeah,
What do you
possibly
think
there's
that's due? Is it pressure or is it...
pressure. A lot of the shots have been had from a long way out. A lot of pressure out there though, Chris. And still, of course, those grand final nerves. Although the players do seem to be settling down quite well now.
A nice smother there off the boot. The player recovered well. Got it in his pay. That's a
That
mark
was a dangerous pass
he should have taken.
across centre of the ground by Christies.
Taddy Parsons.
And he doesn't miss many. And he certainly hasn't missed that one.
He's got it. There you go, another goal.
Well, he's been
Willunga crowd's gone wild here. You know, if you can't see the streamers, but
and what a great crowd they are. Fantastic supporters. Very noisy, very vocal, but very, very loyal. And that was a fine example of Parsons' skill, aggression and strength. His pace out of packs is amazing. He's
exactly,
a beautiful kick.
That first 10 metres, he just burns, and it takes a good player to recover as quickly to catch up with him.
And that'll give him a great boost in confidence. He hasn't had a brilliant game so far, but he'll certainly be really raring now. Another great tackle by Phil Collins. He does that so well for a small player.
I know he's taught him to tackle, but not often a player will get away from him. That should be a free in the back, but the umpire's going to bounce it up.
That's great play from Clifford Flower. He's only a young guy.
How old is he?
21 from memory, 20 or 21. He's only a young bloke. Unfortunately, he's not listed in the budget, which is a very poor oversight by the printers of the budget. But we certainly know his value at Willunga. That was a fine example.
Christies in short. They seem to have a lot of players down there, and yes, that player seems to be fairly hurt after Maxi collided with him.
Yeah, it's the second time Maxi's been caught out of position twice, once each quarter. Peter won't be particularly happy with that, but I guess the way the ball's being delivered.
There were 3 players in that particular fall of the ball. If we had an instant replay, we'd be able to prove it, but
sure.
You have to take my word for it. Has he pulled that one over his body, has he? No.
No, he's just snuck it in. Yeah, Peter had to pick up another player. It wasn't his fault, but possibly a little bit of looseness in the back lines then. but I'm sure they'll tighten up they've been a fine unit all year, and particularly in this final series. And the scores now: Willunga 6 goals 7, Christies Beach 5 goals 9. 5 points ahead Willunga. Four points ahead Willunga. I should have given that one to you, Chris. Being a teacher, you would have got it right first time.
Mathematics is not my game, Q, but I could tell you probably about history of numbers.
Come on, Desi!
Did well to get that handball. It's a Hill player. Trevor committed himself as he had to. Got the ball away. And we should clear this.
It was interesting to note then when Trevor Linky showed the body at Kelly Hill, he pulled out, so maybe there's a weakness there.
Brian Oster's got it clear, puts that ball in. Two spoils there, not good talking then, Q.
No, Kavanagh had to sit and Hamsey came over the top. It was unlucky, but there was obviously not enough voice there. I'm sure they'll sort that out pretty quickly.
Players have been giving a little bit too much time to recover from those mistakes.
Yeah, and Christies have got it out of backlines very, very easily once again. And this is going to be a dangerous...
Well done, Marty.
Tapped it through. Peter Maxfield tapped that one through. And that was necessary. That was good football.
Yeah, good football under the conditions. But, gee, I'm still worried about how easy it's coming out of those backlines, Chris.
Our forward lines, you mean?
Out of our forward lines, yeah, run out by their half back line.
Well, I know, it seems the scoring end does seem to be this end. We had the better part of it. I think Christies would have outscored us this quarter.
Well, that wasn't one of Marty Bayer's best kick-outs, yet it probably still went 60 metres, and luckily for us, Peter Maxfield got a free kick for a high tackle or push in the back.
Well, Marty's never content with perfection in his game, and he's always disappointed if he doesn't sort of get the ball out the way he'd like it.
Yep. And it's interesting
to note...
his
percentage has to be high.
Yeah, interesting to note there seem to be two players on Brett McDonald every time he goes for the ball, which just indicates how important they think he is to our team.
Well, as you said earlier, they've done their homework. They know the strengths and the weaknesses of the side.
Come on, Raiders!
You have to grab him, Marty. And he got him nicely too. Just never gave up. Clear that ball. And
great
recovered
back
himself.
up again by Marty.
Toff Roberts should take that mark. Does. They won't let him go on with it.
Chris is a very experienced player. Good mark, good kick. And they have to use him whenever they possibly can, particularly when the ball comes into our forward lines.
Exactly, eh? If you're looking for the strong kicks in the side, you'd have to look at him as very high up there amongst, let's say, the top four.
Well, that's the half-time scores are Willunga 6 goals 7, Christies Beach 5 goals 10. Yeah!
Right, here we go to start the third quarter. Ball's been bounced. Desi Perkins missed out on that one, but he's been winning the ruck all day, and we get a free kick. With me in the commentary box is Sam Cuthbert, Division 1 Reserves coach for the season. Sam, what are your impressions of the game so far?
Well, Chris, is rather tight. Unfortunately, I'm trying to be objective about the game, but I'm rather emotive. And but it's a very tight game, but I still believe that we have got the ascendancy at this stage.
I know you've been on selection, and I know you don't want to talk too much about selection, but there are a couple of boys that you had a part and parcel of coaching yourself out there today.
Yeah, Chris. Well, it sort of, I think it's reflective of the whole club's strength this year. You look around, you see Stevie Perkins, Ricky Belfield, Cliff Flower. Well, you can go through a lot of players who have come up through the Div 1 reserves. During the stage of the year, as you probably all appreciate, we had 12 or 14 players out, and most of those came from the Argonauts, and A grade, and those dates came up, held the place, and to me it's a reflection on the depth of the club this year.
Yeah, well, that's it's very true. I think you've commanded a fair bit of respect. Toff Roberts just grabbed the ball out here, and we probably look forward to a goal here. We can get a few goals ahead of us on this particular stage of the game. We've got it made, I think, but it's going to be a hard slog.
Yeah, this quarter's going to be absolutely crucial to us. Oh, look at that brilliant goal from Toff. Oh, no, just off.
He's rushed that through. But
Rushed that through.
yeah, well, as I was saying, Sam, the amount of depth that this club has had it must be pleasing when you get to selection and sit down in selection. You've got all these players.
That's right, Chris. It represents. Well, you've got 20 players out there today, but there's a lot of forces behind that 20 players. Like the Div 1 reserves can take pride. The under 16 lads can take pride. They had to come up and help the Div 1 reserves out. Then you go into the committee, like Terry Corcoran and his committee, totally complimented this year. A tremendous job. And I think whatever the result is today, a lot of people could feel very proud of themselves for this year.
It's very, very true, Sam. And I mean, I know that from players' point of view, you know, you've coached me this season, had a lot of faith in those players, and you've been tickled pink about coaching yourself during this season, and given the Argonauts their nickname, and giving them the support they've needed, both in selection and whatever. I know you've commanded a fair bit of respect from the players. What about your own future?
Well, I'll always be around a Willunga Football Club, Chris. It is the best club that I've ever played with. I played with a few different clubs in my life, but it's by far the most.
Hamsy just yeah, forget what you were saying. Hamsy just put that magnificent mark out there, and if we can line this one up, that's another goal. I can't see him missing this, and this must be number 128. They're putting a lot of pressure on Hamsy today.
Yeah, and he's doing it well. You know, obviously he's a marked player, but you know.
Weaknesses at this stage, you think, in terms of field positions? Or would you make any changes yourself if you were coaching the side?
Good on you, Hamsy.
It's a goal.
No.
Yeah, everyone's excited about it.
None at all, Chris. The boys have got the job to do. Thus far, they've been doing it very, very well. It's the total pressure game. It's very, very hard for us here to try and be objective and analyse the game. I think there's a fair bit of emotion connected with a whole lot of us.
Has to be. It's just enough to be restrained here when you get a goal.
That's correct.
Get him go, Phil!
But, well, Des Perkins, well, have you mentioned Glenn Reynolds so far?
We have mentioned Glenn about how much he's missed out, but Des is sort of filling that shoes. I mean,
Des
how many?
did a magnificent job, and isn't that centre bounce so important to win?
It is. I mean, I know you've been stressing it all year, and how important it is to win the centre bounce, and how you've been encouraging along with Kevin the amount of tenacity that's needed to win that ball out of centre, give your forwards a chance, get the ball into them. If they can get the ball delivered correctly, then they can finish it off. And after all, that's their job, isn't it?
That's right. Well, we got the power down there. We got Macca and Hamsy and Wayne Kavanagh, and you know, all we have to do is get it down there, deliver correctly, and the job will be done. All we have to do is work.
Well, the boys are working at the moment.
Yeah.
It's just
Just like to see a little bit higher conversion rate at the moment.
Timmy Scholes. Oh, what a great mark. That has to be one of the great marks. They've been having a great duel, those two, all day, and I reckon Timmy's got on top.
Yes.
And he's been has to be amongst our best players.
He's a total player, is Tim Scholes.
Yeah.
He's ultimate in concentration. You just watch him now. You can't see him on the camera, obviously, but
H got the ball again, puts it over his body. Ozzy's gonna get it. Oh,
touched. Come on.
Well, that's pressure.
That's absolute pressure.
And he looks a little bit hurt down there.
Yeah, looks in a bit of trouble. He has had a lot of back trouble.
Come on, Ozzy, get up!
Brendan Smith's warming up now, Chris. Yes.
Yeah. Well, Brenton can fill any gap in the side, and that's what he's there for.
Anyway, Chris, I better put you over to Mick Quiniam now. Thanks for the opportunity to have a few words.
Thanks for coming along, Sam. It's certainly interesting to hear your comments about the sort of total commitment that the club has been given to this day. It's just not those 20 players out there. It's everyone you see to your left, all these supporters, the B grades you coached.
That's right.
And it was disappointing, I know, from players' point of view, and it must have been even more disappointing from the coach's point of view. The Div 1 reserves couldn't make it.
Chris, I just, before I go, I'd just like to say, our guys are out there playing for the club, not like other clubs in this league playing for the checkbook, and that's why we'll succeed today, hopefully.
Thanks very much, Sam.
Thanks, Chris.
Okay, that was Sam Cuthbert, Division 1 reserve coach, and Sam certainly has commanded the respect of this club, and anything he has to say is is certainly worth its salt. We pick up the play now at Christies Beach has moved in. They've marked the ball in their forward area, and no doubt there will be a shot here. I doubt whether he'll make the distance, but he's certainly going to give it a try. And welcome back, Q.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, interesting words from Sam there.
Well, Sam's been so much of a part and parcel of this club for so long. He's given everything, his whole heart and soul to this club.
Well, that's a bit of a blow. We certainly didn't need that one.
No.
The Christies into the breeze.
Both sides would have had to been psyched up at half-time. I know that Kevin wasn't particularly pleased about the loose men. People I talked to around the ground were commenting on the number of loose men that were appearing in that second quarter. They certainly Christies Beach certainly seemed to have more of the play in that particular quarter.
Yeah, well, I guess it's easy for us to comment here, but it certainly seemed to be noticeable here, so I hope we weren't doing the boys an injustice, but they're certainly trying very hard now and playing a lot better this quarter so far.
Where's the free kick come for?
Centre half forward got that kick away nicely, but
Come on, Oz, get in there. Worry about the man.
Brian Oster, I hope he's not feeling that leg. We saw him go down just a little while ago, and let's hope he sort of can
sure
keep the run going.
That goalpost very hard.
Certainly committing themselves.
It's becoming a very physical game this quarter, but both sides know that this is possibly the quarter where the game's won or lost.
Well, that's right, but having a look at half-time, I saw that wind blow up, and that was a little bit disturbing. If the wind does blow up strongly, it does seem to me that the northern end of the ground is the scoring end, judging from what has been happening so far in this game. Yeah,
the wind did seem to pick up at half-time, although, as you said, the paper on the ground isn't blowing much at the moment, so it probably hasn't got a great bearing on the game at the moment. But it's on the outer side of the ground, the eastern side of the ground, on the half-forward flank for Christies, about 80 yards out from their goal.
As I said before, you know, the wind is only a matter of attitude. You can either sort of go with it or be just...
Yep. Oh, and that's a great spell from Trevor Linky, and that's fantastic play from Timmy Scholes. He really committed the body hard for that, and that's the value of this guy.
He's a courageous player, and he'll get up every time. It'll take a bulldozer to sort of bury him.
And there's players like that we need if we're going to take this grand final out.
It's almost a...
And there he goes again. That's fantastic play. 2 plays in a row.
Tough Roberts.
And good delivery to Chris Roberts.
Come in from the outside here. This is all red and white. He's all one-eyed here.
Yeah, I guess a few people have accused of being a bit biased. Well, I'm not afraid to admit I'm biased. There's only one team I want to win today.
Hambo, oh, what a great mark. How many times have we seen that? Use the body.
You can't stop a champion, Chris, and that certainly is what Chris Hams is to this club. He's a champion footballer, and 129 goals.
I'd say it's the highlight of his career. It has to be one of his best seasons in football. Perhaps, well, I don't know, one could accuse him of being up and down in the past, but I was talking to Wayne Potter the other night, and he said it has to be Hambo's best season, and he's put that through for another goal.
And that's 129 for the season, and that's a fantastic effort. No one from Willunga's ever kicked 100 goals before, and Chris is fitter this year. He's more determined, and he wants to win this grand final, and they're not going to stop him.
Total in 7A grade history, beating Baden 128. Well, there it is, just coming over the loudspeakers then. 129 goals, beaten Baden Power's record for second place. And so Hambo moves into the history books. I don't think he can do it this year. What's the record, Q? It's about 156, isn't it?
56 or so, yeah.
And who's got that?
Baden Taylor's got that too.
Oh, right. This is a loose player. Christies Beach Oval is almost built for this.
Yeah, and they're tending to use their overs a little bit wider now. Rusty Summerside seemed to have run out of legs a little while ago. Stocky little player, but he showed a bit of dash that time and delivered the ball beautifully. And well, our Rovers are still well on top, but they probably will have to keep an eye on him.
What's he done with that one? No, he's pulled it, but
nice looking kick, but slightly offline. Goes through for a point. The score is Willunga 8 goals 9, Christies Beach 6 goals 12, a 9-point advantage to Willunga.
Well, 9 points at this stage is, considering it's been fairly close, it's a fairly handy advantage.
Do you see the kick out, Chris, straight down the middle to Des Perkins in the centre square?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised.
Mark.
That's the way they've been told to go, and that's the way they'll go.
Yep. And that was possibly a bit silly, that play. Well, it should have been a kick.
Trevor Linke. Haven't seen much of Perks, but he's been reliable. He's been reliable, and we haven't seen much of it.
That's fine football.
Haven't seen much of his plays, but
he took the hard body afterwards. Yeah, unnecessary play, and Kelly Hill's been sent off for 5 minutes.
Well, that's an experience, and that's bad news to have to happen in a grand final. Lose a player for 5 minutes. Willunga should take advantage of this.
That's right.
A loose man in the back lines.
And I'm sure that's only going to stir Steve Perkins on to better things now.
Well, Steve's tough, and he's probably feeling a little bit sore, but he certainly wouldn't be feeling sorry for it.
For sure.
He'd know the advantage of that particular bit of play.
And the ball's on Willunga's half-forward line at the moment. Kavanagh being ridden into the ground, but no free kick. And this is Christie's play went one-handed, and that certainly wasn't good play by Peter Overall.
Got the run, puts it in. Yet another point.
Recovered again overall and kicked a point on the run.
If you were a Christies Beach coach, what would you be thinking at the moment?
I'd be hoping we could just get a few plays in front, and we could just get our noses in front, because I wouldn't like to be chasing this Willunga side, known as a running side, finishing off very strongly, and I'd be pretty worried if we weren't ahead at three-quarter, if I wasn't ahead at three-quarter time, if I was the Christies coach.
Nice mark taken by Gary
Which augurs
Weir
well for Willunga. Being in front, I believe we'll have the psychological advantage.
All right.
And as I said earlier, Chris, it's always good to be in front.
Well, we've had most of the front positive for most of the game. Let's hope that it finishes.
And there's that man again, Marty Bayer. What a player he's been for the club in his 150th game.
Ball coming in, forward pocket for Christies Beach. Des Perkins once again, the tap goes down to our players and cleared by Stevie Perkins.
Beautiful kick by Steve Perkins out to the wing. Oster a fine mark on the right on the centre wing. Driving Willunga into attack.
Well, Brett McDonald.
Hits McDonald on the chest. Got it both ways, Macca.
Look for him, plays on. A handball.
Good handball over the top of Reed.
Left footer. Wayne Kavanagh. Takes that mark, plays on quickly.
That's a beautiful kick into the square.
Shark it!
Gee, Christies are running it out easily again, though, Chris. It's bad football in the forward line.
That's right, that guy's, he's only going half pace.
He's had 2 paces, kicks the ball up to the centre. That's
and
poor
a good
play
centre
by
line
Willunga.
been formed there, and that's
Mr. Reliable, Tim Scholes. Puts the ball out in front of Cav here.
Cav overruns it.
Yeah, took his eyes off the ball slightly and got into the back of his opponent.
Yeah. Fair enough decision too. I think it did miss the line of that ball.
Frustration there.
Punch here, no doubt. And the ball goes out of bounds. Half forward for Christies Beach. Des once again.
There's Andy Wolford again. He's playing a great game too.
Oh, misread the ball entirely. Should go holding the ball. No, the umpire's called it, held to him.
Christie's very, very lucky to get away with that.
And he was almost disappointed. I couldn't see that.
Oh, you're right, Chris. Christie's get the tap this time. Run it out.
Come on.
Chris.
It's a lovely pickup by the Christie's player.
Willunga has slowed just a fraction in this last few minutes.
Yeah, and the Christie's player was a bit silly then, Chris. He had a player about 10 yards out from goal on his own, turned his back to the play, and he's going back for a shot, and this could cost them.
Well, there's a fair way out.
He's straight in front, about 45 metres out.
Peter Overall. He's put it in.
Not a bad kick,
just another point.
But it's offline, and that did cost Christie's. He could have put it over to the player in the goal square.
And the budget, they say he can play anywhere, this particular guy, but when you need a specialist forward to kick goals, you need a specialist forward to kick goals.
That's right. On this occasion, the score is Willunga 8-9, Christie 6-14. Marty Bayer kicks out short to Trevor Linke. He puts the ball long to the wing, and it's out of bounds directly on the eastern side of the ground at the centre wing. Des Perkins in competition with Dennis Taborski, ruckman for Christies Beach.
And China too, just a little fraction too much with the ball.
Yeah,
But
Richard Harrington.
There you see it, the handball back. They're not afraid to do that, are they?
That's
kid?
right. And Richard Harrington, the centre man from Christies, is getting a lot of touches, although they're not all that effective at this stage, but he is starting to come into the game a bit.
Almost seem.
Oh, what was that whistle for?
That's a great leap by Marty Bayer, but the free kick's gone to Brian Oster in front, got a push in the back. Brian playing as a follower today, as he has for most of the season, changing on the half-forward flank with Rod Parsons. Gets a 15-metre penalty.
Well, he wouldn't have played that many games this year. I was just thinking about that the other night. You know,
Probably only doesn't. Oh. And he drives it into centre-half forward, and a classic centre-half forward mark taken by Brenton McDonald. What a beautiful pair of hands he's got. About 70 yards out, straight in front.
Just settle until someone's there, but that's going in.
So mighty kick. But once again, Hams and Kavanagh spoil each other.
Well, perhaps we need a rover or two down there. There's just, you know, there's a classic case. Then it went into two big men, and there wasn't anyone sharking for the ball.
That's right, and possibly a little misunderstanding between Chris and Wayne. But Chris is the man who kicks the goals and should be given every opportunity to get the ball.
A lot of pressure in that back line applied by Christies Beach.
Yep. That was better chasing out of the forward lines by our players.
Des Perkins.
Although Christies seem to be running the ball.
Been struggling for a yard, but look at that, look at that. Des Perkins applied that pressure then.
That's directly over our central missionary position here, central commentary position, I'm sorry, Chris.
I noticed our cameraman was sort of just a little brown stain appeared in his pants for a little while.
And what a fine job he's doing, Chris. He's been here all day since 9 o'clock this morning at Willunga.
Too right.
And he's doing a fine job.
Well, I'd recommend him to anyone who was wanting to do something similar to this forecasting.
That's right. Big thanks to Mike Alsop.
One each in the middle.
Yes.
In the middle. Together. Come on, Redders. Come on, Paddy.
The ball's out on centre wing on the eastern side of the ground. Good series.
This is where the Christies love it. They love to run the ball.
Yeah, a series of handballs setting up the loose player. Good delivery to the full forward. And that certainly is a goal to Christies Beach.
Just came off hands there once again. I don't think we had anyone down.
And didn't they move the ball in there so well, though, Chris? They caught us off guard, set up the loose player, and Kevin Poulter's justifiably upset now.
Well, that's typical of Christies' game, though. Create that loose man, work that ball. How many times we've seen it with Christies Beach? They're well renowned for it. They're probably the slickest moving side in the league. You can tell they're not a long kicking side. They like the short pass. They like to move the ball with handball. And if we had any statistics, I'm sure that Christies would probably be up there.
That's right, and it appears Brenton Smith's warming up to come on the ground. And we'll pick up the player who's coming off in just a moment.
Phil Collins won that ball.
How come he got away with it?
Peter Maxfield.
Still a lot of fumbling going on out there, but by gee, it's a pressure-packed match, and I don't blame these players one bit. Score, Willunga 8 goals 9, Christies Beach 7 goals 14.
Desi Perkins got that tap once again. There should be another back over the shoulder there. Leith Rennie's got time to turn, put it in, but unfortunately, Christies Beach player.
And Leith hasn't showed the dynamic play that he has in the past finals matches, although he's certainly performing well, and on that occasion he did extremely well.
Yeah, a nice tackle.
I thought that was a great tackle by Kevin Poulter, and a poor decision by the umpire, but however, you've got to get the ball.
And you've got to keep chasing, lads. Puts it in.
And there's Marty Bayer again. What a great game he's playing today.
Marty clears that.
It's out to the boundary. And that was well done by Chris Roberts. He was 4-1 against, and he made good pace and a lot of distance to force that ball out of play.
So the ball comes down in half forward for Christies Beach.
Yes, heavy body work just in front of our commentary position.
Yeah, the umpire's called this one up. Bounce down. Desi once again the tap. Christies Beach clears, nice looking pass. Put it out in front of that player.
And that was Dave Cranenberg for Christies Beach, and beautiful delivery.
He's too far out to score though, Q.
Yeah, overall he's got the ball. He's a long way out, 60 metres out, directly in front. And he's kicked it offline, heading for the point post. Once again, Marty Bay's up high, but ball's come to the back.
Dangerous.
And Christies Beach goal, and that puts them in front for the first time for the game. 8 goals, 14 Christies Beach, 8 goals, 9.
This particular stage, we should mention some of our other sponsors. Graham Williams Motors. Graham Williams has been a staunch supporter of this club, and his support's certainly been appreciated. He's situated out there on South Road near Ranella. I've had my last 2 cars off Graham. He's friendly, he always offers a good deal, and certainly I wouldn't hesitate to recommend anyone going and see Graham Williams for a vehicle.
Yeah, I've got a car from him too, Chris, and Graham's also a former secretary and president of the club, so his support certainly isn't just financial.
Exactly.
He's a great club man as well.
I even borrowed $10 off him the other night and haven't repaid him yet.
Go, Kev!
Although I don't think he'd want that to get around. Chevelinki buries himself on that ball. And it's
So I feel we're in a little trouble here, Chris, and I hope the players realise that, and I feel there should be a sense of urgency creeping to our game now. There are players out there who know the feeling of losing, and they don't want to lose this one.
free that Hill fellow again. Off he goes. 2 on 1 down there. Took a nice mark.
Yeah, and overall starting to get on top there in at the either centre half forward, full forward position. I'm not quite certain exactly where he's playing, maybe even running on the ball at this stage.
You worked out who's come off?
Yes, it's Cliff Flower who's off.
Cliff Flower, is it? Unusual role for Brenton Smith, not used to being down the back lines, but still a classy player.
Marty Bay got high and spoiled, and this time Kevin Poulter's behind the pack.
Taddy
Clears
Parsons.
well to Taddy Parsons. Kicks out long to centre wing. There's a race on here for the ball. Gee, and Christies are certainly driving this ball to their forward lines
making the most of
now.
the opportunities at the moment. That's over the mark.
There's a 15-metre penalty against Willunga for infringing over the mark.
Come on, Timmy, up on him!
Well, we've been in this position before, Chris, even in the last few games, but and we've pulled out of it, and we're going to need a big effort now.
Well, I remember the game against Morford Vale. Everyone written us off. I think most of our own supporters have written us off, and that's not very usual for us. But at that particular stage, we fought back and came back and picked up that game. Still, from a personal point of view, I'd like to be 6 or 7 goals up at this particular stage.
Yeah, I certainly would too, Chris.
Just crawled out of the creek.
Not a good kick.
Peter Maxfield takes a fine mark in front of the pack in the very last line of defence. And at this stage, Willunga have to drive the football forward and create for a major.
Flew a bit early,
high, went a little early. Ball's paddled out, but Poulter's got it. That's a good handball.
Linky working the ball
another
forward.
Handball to
a nice
Reid.
handball.
On to Collins.
I know he's there.
The left foot kicks up to Walford.
That's okay.
And it's out of bounds on the half-forward flank for Willunga. That was a much better series of handballs and running play from Willunga, and we need a lot more of that to take this game out. Perkins strong in ruck. Couldn't get the ball out. There's another ball up. Perkins in ruck, Collins calling. McDonald waiting. Ball's down, 3 Christies players. It's not a good kick.
Ball bounced.
Christies have got the ball in the centre of the ground.
They do pick up the ball well, don't they?
Well, Christies are doing what we were in the first quarter. Chris, they're getting in front now, and that's where we were winning the game early. And now Christies are taking advantage and getting in front.
Peter Maxfield does well to off-balance his player. And that has to be too high.
That's a free to Bronny Reid, and once again, Bronny Reid from the forward pocket to the back pocket.
Trevor Linky,
unlucky, got caught out of position. A fine handball by Andy Walford.
Gets one after disposal. Toff Roberts plays on. Picked up. Kevin Poulter
And Willunga
long way out from full-back. Marty Bayes following it up well. Teddy Parsons puts it in. Hamsey. And he's been pushed in the back, and Chris Hamsey awarded this free. And it's not a case where Chris Hands misses too many of these goals out in front.
That's for sure. And Willunga are doing it the hard way, but they are driving the ball forward. And
well, they need this one.
They have to do it a lot more often.
This one is very important.
This is a critical goal for Willunga.
I think Chris knows this. But every goal is another goal for Chris. He's not just going to sort of put it up there.
That's the one!
That's the one dead centre. He may have 130 goals, and I reckon about 120 of those have been dead centre.
That's right, that gives Willunga a 1-point advantage at this stage. 9 goals, 9. Christies Beach, 8 goals, 14. And, you know, sure, it's close, Chris, but let's face it, this is what grand finals are all about. 2 even sides, the best 2 sides in the competition competing in a major game. If it was one-sided, it wouldn't really be the contest that we expect of a grand final, and this is certainly living up to every expectation of people here.
I think the hotels, if we do win, are going to boom. I know Jeff Mearn's up for the Willunga Hotel, and Jeff's been an avid supporter.
And his wife, Jan.
Yes, Jan. They've been first-time supporters of this club, just new into the area, or relatively new into the area, and considering some long-term people. But Jeff and Jan are sort of lovely people, and they serve lovely meals. And they've certainly been right behind this club. And Jeff and Jan are here today, and I know they're giving their wholehearted support to this club.
Yeah, and we thank them very much.
Yeah, thank you.
A great effort first up.
Trevolinki, unaccustomed punch.
That's it, Wall. Well done.
Breton been pushed under the ball a little bit more. Unlucky not to get it.
Yeah, certainly seen that way to me.
Remonstrating with the umpire over that particular decision.
That won't help. We've got to get the ball back now. And Bronny was pushed out. Kavanagh, lovely handball to kick from Kavanagh.
Fierce.
That's it, Wall.
Chris Hams again out in front. Oh.
Well, that was good play by Andy Wolford, and it took a fine mark by Christies to cut off that good play. Leith Rennie up a bit early.
One hand, but he'll keep at it.
Well, the 3-quarter time scores, Willunga 9 goals, 9, Christies 8-14. Willunga 1 point ahead. Willunga 1 point ahead. 9 goals, 9, Christies 8 goals, 14. Couple of changes. Trevor Linky's gone to centre-half back, and Peter Maxfield to the back pocket, and Brenton Smith's gone to the half-back flank. Cliff Flower is currently on the interchange. Brian Rose with me again. A few comments, Brian, about what's happened since quarter time.
Oh, Mickey, I'm sitting here, I'm getting a few shivers down the back. It's going to be an absolutely marvellous last quarter. Taddy Parsons, good to see him get in the game too. He had a real quiet third quarter, and with Oster and his injured leg, we lost a lot of run in the ruck roving division, and Taddy's got to get back in. He's got to give us some drive. Gee, I held my breath in that third quarter, Mick, when Christies went ahead, and it was again the last 10 minutes of the quarter where they seemed to surge on us, and then we steadied with that goal from Hamsey, and now a point in front. This first score is pretty crucial. If we can put one through just into this little breeze, although it's more tacking across the ground, if we can get one and go, that's 7 points in front, which means they've got 2 kicks to get back in. That'll be what we'll need. That'll give us a real boost. Yeah. Conversely, Christies kicked the first goal, and you see a different story.
Well, Christies have only been ahead once all day, and that was by 3 points, and we got a goal back almost immediately. So I guess it's always nice to be in front, even if it is only a point. And if it's a point at the end of the game, we'll be quite happy. But
Michael, you'd probably be better able to answer this question than me, but I worry about perhaps the fitness. A running side like Christies, obviously used to running, obviously used to this sort of demand each week. I wonder if we're going to have the legs with the constant pressure that Coach Poulter's asked all day.
Sure.
Are we going to have the legs to go with them all day?
Well, Tuesday night there were some very, very sore and stiff boys. Thursday night the boys ran the ball pretty well, but sure, we've had 3 very hard games. An interesting comment that Kevin made Thursday night was that during the finals we'd only played 3 losing sides, and we're up against the side who won 2 weeks ago for the first time. So there is going to be a lot more pressure playing against a winning side as opposed to losing sides.
Aussie, come on, H.
Yeah, Hamsey hasn't had a lot of support in that forward line today.
He hasn't. Come on, Andy, this has got to be a true kick. No, it's off. Yeah, Chris, I don't know, he seemed to be very quiet. In fact, at half-time, there was a couple of whispers in the room, people suggesting maybe Desi Perkins to fall forward just for 5 minutes to give Chris a run to get into it.
Ball, yeah.
And then, within a state of probably 5 minutes of the game, we see Hamsey kick 3 goals in that, or 2 or 3 goals in that third quarter and put us right back into the game.
Yeah, all they've got to do is deliver it to Chris in the fashion he likes, which is where he can use his body to get in front, take the marks, and he'll do the rest, and he's proven
All
of
his work today has been when they've got it down there quickly to a one-out situation, which is what Polder said before the game, to give Macca and Hamsey the chance. They've got to get it down there quickly.
Andy Wolford's played a great game today.
And that might even curl around, and
that's
it is.
A beautiful kick.
It is.
And that's a
lovely
goal.
kick. And that's the first goal we were talking about, Mick.
That's the one.
And now the surge at the centre should be there. You'll see Polder with it. He'll start using the voice, and you'll see Desi Perkins pick up. And right now, I feel good for Willunga's chances.
Yep.
I think
an 8-point advantage at about the 5-minute mark of the final turn.
Geez, I tell you, one young man that's impressed me greatly today is that young Timmy Scholes on that half-back flank.
Yeah, great
I remember
player.
young Tim come out to training, 3 years ago as a young raw boy,
right.
and I have a look at him today. And, look, his aggression and desperation has been absolutely marvellous, mate.
Very mature footballer.
Trevor Linky into centre half-back. That's an interesting move.
Yeah, Trevor's been playing extremely well this year, particularly in the final series.
Come on, Reddies!
Lay out of his back. That's the way played.
And over the years, Brian, Christies haven't changed a lot. They still do crisscross backwards hand passes.
Yeah, I
short
suppose
game.
when you've got an oval as big as Bice Oval, you've always got to base your game around a running style of football, and probably by virtue of that, their recruiting centred around that style of thing.
That's true.
And recover. Good boy.
Well done, Bucko. Beautiful job.
Yeah, Leith hasn't shown his best today, but by gee, he's a fighter, and he's been a fantastic player for us this season.
One player at this stage I'd really like to see get a couple of touches, important touches, would be Kevin Polder.
Yep.
I think Kevin's done a lot of the hard work today. He's done a lot of the chasing and a lot of the checking that's perhaps gone unnoticed by a lot of the crowd. And I'd like to see him get hold of the football and steady and really get something worthwhile going for us.
Yeah, probably need a little bit more from Poltz. He's very nervous and normally leads by example. And by gee, there aren't any better fighters than Bronny Reid, and he's played a great game today.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, he's often been mentioned as perhaps being a yard short in pace, but when you look at the heart and the desperation the boy's got, he goes a long way to making up for that. Toffer, well done.
Great smother.
Now work on it, boys. Work on it in there.
Let him get it away a bit easy.
Come on, Tim.
Grab him too.
He slipped at the wrong time then.
One of the few times only that Fours probably got away from Tim. Although for 5 minutes he got away quite a long way away, in fact.
On the ball.
Played Bayer.
What a great game he's played.
He's an evergreen, isn't he? I noticed at half-time, ice on the knee, and he was in a fair amount of pain, and I can tell you now that out there it's probably hurting a bit. And come on, Kevin. That's the important move from Coach Polder we're talking about. Come on, sit for him. Oh.
A little bit slow in the delivery there, and now Christies are starting to run it. What can we do here?
Come on, boys. Oh, geez. That was the move,
unlucky.
you know. Kevin set that up, and the handball missed it. It sat for Aussie, and we get it to Hamsey, one out.
We took the one step too many. That was an unlucky move for Willunga. It had the run of the ball.
Come on, Tim. Work again. Work again.
Gene Kelly Hill's showing a lot of pace here. Handball inside.
Now use it, fellas. Come on, there's a couple of us. Give it on. Come on, Trev.
Good
Well
play,
done.
Trevor Linky.
Bronte. Aye, come on, Umpy.
Gee, what does
Jeez,
Bronny
I'll
Reid
tell
have
you
to
what,
do?
they often talk about Mark Williams for Collingwood not getting looked after by the umps. Young Bronte, I think, suffers from the same disease.
Yeah, 4-1, pushed in the back, did everything right. And that's a great mark by Timmy Scholes. Lack of talking, but by gee, that was good work.
Come on, Reddies! Get serious!
Toffer Roberts. Tell you
Yeah.
what, you put it out in front of him, he doesn't miss too many, old Chris.
He's been a value player today.
Bronte hitting a hole, it's in that direction.
Come on, Macca. Pull your salt, Macca.
That's good play, Brent.
He's well done, he's well done, and he's got the free.
Handballed it out, got
Back
grabbed.
quickly, Brent. Gee, Mickey, I didn't take a note of time. How long would we be into it?
Not quite sure, Brian. We'll certainly find out.
That was the last person that could get away with it. Come on, Marker! Sink it through!
Hamsey, what about a big one? Kavanagh, off the pack, Collins.
Come on, get fat one. Grab him too.
Gee, that's a great tackle by Brian Oster.
Grab everything.
Tell you what, there was a stage in that. Third quarter when Applegarth moved to the half-forward flank, got away, and I'm very surprised that they haven't used him perhaps in the roving capacity today, because Summerside's getting a lot of touches, but geez, been caught a lot. And I think that Collins and Wolford have probably dominated in the roving today. That's good pressure. They're forcing him across the side.
Across the ground, going out wide to the eastern side of the ground on the wing.
Oh, that's well played.
Fine mark by Brenton Smith, the new player to the club this year.
That's the boy brought on too. At the time that Applegarth was getting away on that half forward, he was brought on to do that job, and he's done it so perfectly there.
Yeah, he's done a very good job since he's been on, and that's good mark by Des Perkins. This is the sort of football Willunga have to produce.
I tell you what, the height. Before the game, they were mentioning that Willunga had a lot of height, and then you see guys like Des and even Wayne Kavanagh and Hamsey around the ground, and those couple of extra inches has been really telling.
That's right.
Look, I'll tell you, Mick, thanks for the opportunity.
Well, thanks very much, Brian. And
I feel good as I look at the score. I think we're in with an excellent chance, bringing home the bacon, first time in 20 years with a bit of luck. Thanks very much.
Well, thanks for having us.
Don't let him get away! In the back!
The ball's out of bounds on the eastern side of the ground, right on centre wing. Scores, Willunga 10 goals 10, Christies Beach 8 goals 14. An 8-point advantage to Willunga.
Well, this is where we knew it was going to be exciting, Q.
Yeah, interesting comments from Brian. He suggested if we got the first break in this quarter, we were in with a chance, and we got it.
Yeah.
We've got a couple, and gee, let's just hope we hold
Well, the
this
boys
one.
knows what's at stake there. If they lose it from here, it's not because of wanting to try.
No, there's certainly a lot more aggression in our game this quarter, and it's a very, very good effort.
Clear it out.
They're running the ball, they're running themselves. There are going to be some tired legs after this game, but by gee, they won't feel it when they win.
Come on, Rennies, go! Come on, Rennies!
Just standing down there with the amount of enthusiasm that this Willunga side's got at the moment, there's sort of some very, very anxious supporters out here.
There's certainly, I can guarantee those players are pretty anxious too at the moment, but the only thing they're thinking about is getting that ball and driving it through the sticks.
They're doing it almost, on instinct at the moment. That's what's all involved. They're just doing it on instinct.
Oh, a long kick into centre forward, and Des Perkins takes a fine mark.
Making his mark, and it's probably a good move for Trevor Lingley, centre half forward.
Centre half back, Trevor.
Centre half back, sorry. Yep.
And Desi Perkins, by gee, he's played a great game today. There are a lot of good players out there today. Everyone's put in 100%.
Well,
some players aren't playing quite as well as maybe we'd expected, but by gee, they're playing to the utmost of their capacity at the moment, and nothing can be taken away from that.
Come on, Rennies!
Desi Perkins once again. Des Perkins got a great last quarter. It's his third mark for the quarter.
Come on, Desi!
Finds loose player, picked up Woolley.
And I don't know how long there is to go in this game, Chris, but I would imagine we'd be about the halfway mark of the final term. So I would suggest about 15, 20 minutes still to go.
Christies gets the run of it. And a beautiful tackle. Calling them back. Gives the players time to regroup here.
We've been playing just over 10 minutes in this quarter, so there's still plenty of time. And I don't like the look of that. That's a goal to Christies Beach. Willunga 10 goals 10, Christies Beach 9 goals 14, and that's a 2-point advantage to Willunga.
The boys have been battling so hard out there.
And possibly a good time to mention our final sponsor, major sponsor, Chris, in Thwaites Menswear. When Terry Corcoran came to the club last year, he got Mark Thwaites and his father to sponsor the club. And a shirt's given for the best player in the Division 1 every week, and some financial support as well. And Thwaites certainly produced some nice gear, and I know a lot of the guys here are wearing it today, and they've certainly been fine sponsors, and hopefully their sponsorship will continue during the years.
Full credit to Thwaites in the colonnades. I certainly shopped there, and the friendly staff. Thank you, Twaits.
Yes, great stuff. I've got a lot of their gear. That's a great tackle by Lee Threnny. That's in the back to Tim Scholes.
The umpires letting the play go. Trevor Linke copped a nasty elbow then.
Yeah, the umpires are certainly letting it go. I thought there were 2 frees to us there, but...
What do you think? Are the umpires scared of calling it in this last quarter or what?
Yeah, I think they're letting the play go a lot more than they did early. They're settling down a lot themselves. Timmy Scholes, very cool under pressure.
Taddy Parsons went for that one.
Just over Taddy's head. But very cool by Tim Scholes, and he's been a rock of Gibraltar for us in defence today. And Brian Rowe's very impressed with Tim Scholes.
I'll tell you, the excitement out there at the moment is just electric. Needs the players played well.
Well, we're excited, Chris. So imagine what the players are feeling.
Well,
and this is what we need. A free kick just forward of the centre square. Bronny Reed's got it. Looking out wide for Chris Hams.
And Hambo loves it out there. How many times have we seen Hambo mark the ball on that sort of lead when he leads wide?
And what a lovely pass from Bronny Reed. Absolutely perfect pinpointed Hamsy's lead. And there's an interchange here. Rick Belfield, great little player. Came back to the club last year, going onto a wing. Lee Threnny coming off for a breather. Fresh legs won't hurt at all.
No, at this particular stage, you've got to play all your trumps. Full credit to the Christies Beach defence, so they have been strong in defence.
That was loose, and Rick Belfield on for half a minute, got his first touch, and this will give him a ton of confidence. And
how often do you see that though? A player comes on, excitement of the last few minutes, they're not checked.
The kick's not good, but it's found Phil Collins. That's a shocking decision by the umpires. That was a clear mark, and in the back, that's a terrible decision by the umpires.
Doffer has to be there, and it has to get
once
that
again,
over the
that should
shoulder.
have been a free kick.
Well, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening with this umpiring, but they're certainly letting it go far too much, in my opinion.
Yeah, Phil Collins definitely had the mark. Was hit her over the ears. I can't really understand it. I guess we're just going to have to go that bit harder and hold them a bit longer.
A goal here be handy, Q.
Maybe a few years ago, Chris.
Gets it closer. Come on, Reddies! We're too quiet!
Some great players not in this team today. As we've mentioned, Glenn Reynolds, the animal, and also Grant Senior, Teapot, came to the club last year. Very good player and big future with the club.
Been out there training on a regular basis. There's players at the fall of the ball.
Desi, good shepherding work. Andy Wolford's got it. Oh, it's a lovely handball off Steve
handball.
Perkins up in the back pocket.
He's come from nowhere. He's come from nowhere.
Once again, that seemed high, but the umpires haven't called it. And Christies are running it out. But once again, they're letting it go. Possible free to Christies there, which the umpires let go. A heavy bump.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, I didn't really see a free kick there, but that was for aggression. They're letting a lot go, and they're picking up the funny ones. A couple of other players not in the side today who deserve a mention. James Hoffman, fine player. Russell Merritt and Bradley Cross. Good future players for the club.
Exactly.
All juniors.
Yes, great.
And that's classic Hams.
I just go berserk for a moment. That was a great mark. And that,
6'2", reflexes that quick. What a great player. And this guy could be a potential match winner, or he is a match winner, and he's certainly showing his class today.
I don't know. I just want to put down these headsets and sort of get in amongst these supporters who are so excited at the moment. Through the middle.
There's 131 for the season, 6 for today.
126 through the middle. Go, Willunga, go.
Great mark. What a great goal.
7 points up.
I agree, Chris, I'd like to be down with the supporters, but you and I are a bit more mature than some of these children carrying on here, but I'm sure we'll make up for it tonight when we win.
Joe Evans on the right is sort of so ecstatic.
Terry Corcoran doing a fantastic job as runner, as always.
He's just got to keep them there. He's just got to encourage them.
I doubt if you'll see Corks off the ground this quarter.
Come on!
Aussie over the ball. Well done, Brian Oster, blocked it in. And we must be past the 15-minute mark now.
Ball's up.
Come on, ready?
Des Perkins neutralised. Ball's played on.
We're almost at the 17-minute mark of the final quarter.
Once again.
Change possession.
Christie's trying to run it out. But by gee, our backline and centre line are playing
tight now. They're tight. They know what's at stake.
Willunga really want to win this game, and they'll do anything to get that ball.
Timmy Scholes.
And nobody more than this guy. What a game he's played. Timmy Scholes.
He's probably given this guy 10 yards and he's beaten him all day.
Beautiful kick to Tim. Looking for centre half forward and McDonald, but beautiful roving by Phil Collins.
It's just everyone there.
And look at the aggression of Phil.
Yeah.
Smallest guy on the ground.
Yeah. Run him out.
Smallest guy
Crowd
on the
calls
ground.
for on the floor, but it's not there.
Great support from all the Willunga players.
Talk about excitement now.
Desi gets the tap. That wasn't very well roved. Good series of handballs by Christies.
Come on, Ready! Hold tight!
Steve Perkins in front. Gets the rebound.
He's
still he's in the back. Pushed in the back. Unlucky not to get a free kick there.
So much courage.
What a player he's been for the club. His father Barry's a supporter and sponsor of the club. Always around. Great guy to have around the club.
Need possession, fellas.
Kelly Hill's got away from Timmy this time, but beautifully smothered.
He'll just usher that out the ground.
Andy Wolford been a fine player.
Andy Wolford's giving everything. If he's got any legs left to stand, have a drink tonight, I'll be surprised.
Well, Andy was pretty tired on Tuesday night. Showed good pace and good form Thursday night on the track, and by gee, he's come good at today. Fantastic game.
Des once again.
And Andy's in there.
They'll put this ball down, yes, the body in there.
It's a desperate game. These guys must be very, very tired, but they're not going to give an inch.
Come on, Raiders! Go for the boundary line!
Trev Linky, grab that. Give Maxie a lot of experience.
20 yards
perhaps
around.
Centre half forward, perhaps had a little bit too much pace for him. But Maxie's not the kind of character to give in.
Very experienced footballer too.
Come on, Macca!
Brenton Smith, fine effort.
Brenton Smith.
Marty Bayer.
Balanced him.
What a great player he's been today.
Wayne Kavanagh onto his boot, puts it down our forward area.
For the boundary line on the
and still running
flank for Willunga. And it's right over, and that's a fine passage of play from Willunga.
Well, I don't know. I'd love to know how much time we've got left, Q.
Come on, Raiders!
There's 19 and a half minutes gone in this quarter.
It's still anybody's game.
6 minutes to time on, and
Willunga aren't giving anything away. They're backing up well.
I don't imagine there'll be a lot of time on at this stage. There's only been 3 goals kicked in this
Brenton
quarter.
Smith. How well has Brenton Smith played since he came on?
Rick Belfield hasn't been in the game all day. Didn't play last week.
Timmy Scholl.
Just come on.
He's not going to let this guy beat him. This guy thinks he's got him. Timmy's too much experience. Peter.
Well, there was a very obvious push to us out there, and the umpires didn't pick that up. And it's a point to Christies.
7 points to it.
The scores, Willunga 11 goals 10, Christies Beach 9 goals 15.
Come on, Raiders!
Oh, I'd love to hear this siren, I really would.
7-point advantage to Willunga. And another fantastic kick out from Marty. He must have tired legs, but it's a beautiful
Desi
kick.
Perkins.
Shut this scrofulous scum out!
Bronny Reid on the ground, all guts. Andy Wolford the same.
Andy Wolford puts it out there at centre wing.
Centre wing.
Players got the run of the ball.
Got it.
What a turn of pace. What a turn of pace. So just pass come unstuck. Christies Beach know they haven't got any time to lose.
The umpires call
to get on
but
with
the players don't know what's happening here.
Players been collared. They've kept it there.
That's possibly one of Chris Roberts' few mistakes today. He's played extremely well, and that time he should have given the ball over the top to Chris Hams, decided to go in short, and it was intercepted by a Christies player.
Out of bounds on the floor.
It's a lovely kick back to centre wing. Des Perkins is there. Doesn't quite take it on this occasion.
Run the ball out. They'll run the ball out.
On centre wing, Andy Wolford drives beautifully, drives in long to Chris Roberts.
They'll play the man in front.
Christies man in front has taken the mark. On the half-back flank for Willunga, for Christies Beach. Willunga's half-forward flank on the outer side.
Come on, Reddies!
And the crowd's still pro-Willunga here.
And they're very hushed at the moment. They know what's at stake. They know both sides have put up a sterling battle.
Christies player on that occasion was Dave Cranenberg.
Christies running the ball as they like to run it. Mark being paid to Christies
Christies
Beach.
full forward has taken a mark. Martin Nobbs hasn't done a heck of a lot today, but on this occasion he's got it. It's got a chance of Christies scoring. 30 yards out, 30-degree angle, assistance of the breeze. The pressure on him must be immense. He's gone right across the face of goal, and Des Perkins right on the line has taken a fantastic
Who can blame Des Perkins?
What a great
He'll
game.
slow the play down.
We'd be at about the 22-minute mark of the last term at this stage. Des kicks out long to the half-back flank.
Good kick.
Pack of players up, ball comes down. Christies Road beautifully intercepted by Andy Wolford.
I'll load it for you.
Wayne Kavanagh using all his skill, pushing
Wayne
the ball
Kavanagh.
in front.
Christies Beach grabs possession.
Christie's sheer numbers. Des Perkins once again. There's a Willunga player down.
Try to pick that one
It's
up here.
Trevor Linky.
Linky will be up.
He's on his feet again. He'll be all right. It just looks like Trev got a bit winded.
Time ticking away here. Christies Beach
22.5-minute
running out of time.
term.
Teddy Parsons loves to run. Puts the ball out in front.
Another goal, he would be really wonderful for Willunga. The goal's always good, but by gee, we could do with another one here now.
I'd like to count the number of frees this term, Q. I don't think the umpires have sort of picked up as many as what there have been.
No, but they've done a pretty fair job on the day, Chris. It'll be a hard game for umpire.
I can't fault the umpires, and I don't think there'd be a player out there who could fault the umpires.
Well, on that occasion, it was judged that he wasn't making an attempt to get rid of the ball, and Christies has got the free. Short kick. It's intercepted. Ricky Belfield's got it out.
Ricky
Drives a
Belfield.
long ball, but there's nobody at home for Willunga. And overall takes an easy mark for Christies. They're driving the ball out wide now. Indirect football by Christies, and this isn't going to hurt Willunga at all. They've played on, putting players under pressure, still going wide. Marty Bayer, once again, a beautiful spoil. The ball's out of bounds on the half-forward flank for Christies Beach.
Time ticking away now. There can't be much left in this game.
Probably still 6 or 7 minutes to go.
Well, time's not ticking away.
Well,
bad handball. One of the few mistakes we've
beautiful
seen.
smother by
but
Timmy
beautiful
Scholes.
recovery. If anything, look at these players. Look at these
And
players.
look at Timmy
Just
Scholes.
Burrow in. Peter Maxfield won't let him. Won't be beaten. Won't be beaten.
And that's a free
I
for...
told you he wouldn't be beaten. He
free
earned
and a
that free.
15-metre penalty to Peter Maxfield, and he'll take his time here.
He'll take his time.
Gee, he kicked into the man on the mark. That's poor football. Fine tackle by Collins. And Christies has still got loose running players.
Marty Bayer.
Marty Bayer. What a rock. Fantastic.
Has to be in the best players. Has to be.
Dangerous kick to Des across centre, but it's come off.
Perkins.
Dangerous kick at this time of the game. I would have thought Marty would have gone wide.
Oh, Des Perkins is always reliable. You can't fault the kick.
Well, the kick came off, but I still think it's a bit dangerous at this stage of the game. It's gone out wide, looking for Kavanagh.
Kev hadn't been dominant in the air
Ronnie Reid
today,
up
but,
high.
by
Handball,
God, he's done some
Collins
work.
back to Kavanagh. That's a fine passage of play.
Puts it out in front of
Chris
Top.
Roberts has got it. Plays on to Andy Wolford. He's got it.
No one home.
Well, Andy seemed to get rolled over after the disposal, but the ball's gone out of bounds in the forward pocket on the eastern side of the ground for Willunga. At the scores, Willunga 11 goals, 10. Christies Beach 9 goals, 16.
2 minutes to go. They'll seal off this centre line. They're 7 points up. There hasn't been a score for a while.
Willunga is 6 points up at this stage, Chris.
Sorry.
1 minute before time on. And the excitement here is unbelievable.
Oh, I tell you what. Just looking at our spectators, they are so excited. They are so excited. They are so excited. We have a free
Brett
kick.
McDonald.
If any score will do at this particular
30
stage of the
metres
game,
out.
any score at all. He's put it in. He's put it in. He's made 1 point, and I'll tell you what, that's
And
a
that's a
valuable
7-point advantage to Willunga, though, Chris. 11 goals, 11 to 9 goals, 16.
There are players here now there are spectators now here starting to celebrate. Might be too early, but I don't think so. The way Willunga is moving this ball at the moment,
Andy Wolford, oh, beautiful play. Brian Oster's got the ball. Handballs forward. It's out of bounds in the forward pocket on the western side of the ground for Willunga.
Charles is down. They're so excited. There are players running on the ground now. It's just, I tell you, the atmosphere
I wish we
here.
knew how long there was to go, Chris. Parsons has got it. He snuck towards goals. It's right in the teeth. Hams, it's off his feet.
He's got a free
And
kick.
Willunga have won the grand final for 1984. What a
Fantastic grand final. There are spectators streaming off the ground. Oh,
This is absolutely fantastic.
oh, how long, Teddy passes on the ground over there, and the players are going, spectators, oh, brilliant. 1964, it's been such a long time.
20 years in the making, but by geez, it was worth it.
20 years and they made it. Oh, and there's seas out there.
And Chris, this video is going to be for sale to people around Willunga for... By gee, they've had their money's worth today.
Oh, too right, yeah.
7-point win to Willunga. What a side.
Who can fold it, Q?
And Chris,
who can fold it?
What a coach Kevin Poulter to be able to do this.
Kevin Poulter, for mine, is an amazing man. I know when we lost by 4 points to Ranella, I know what a downhearted man that guy was. It's sort of almost to the stage where it was sort of, what more do I have to do?
Oh,
and he had trust in his players. The players didn't let him down. He wasn't a dominant force today in the game. He said that on Thursday night. He said, I am not going to be a dominant force. I am going to be checked. You guys are the guys that are going to have to take it. And those guys took it right up and made him proud. And
Yep, there's no doubt about it, Chris. And best players, as I saw them, well, how can you pick best players in the grand final side? Everyone contributed. It's a fine club effort, a fine town effort. The whole town's behind us. But best players as I saw them was probably Marty Bayer at fullback.
Marty Bayer for
fantastic.
certain.
Tim Scholes,
Timmy Scholes played an excellent game. There was, in terms of the rest of the backline player, Trevor Linke, there was a magic move, Trevor Linke, to that particular position. And certainly...
Steve Perkins
he played well.
back pocket.
Steve Perkins. I mean, he didn't have that many kicks, but he nullified his man. And what more do you want from a backman?
And the Ruxton Rovers, Chris, Des Perkins, Andy Wolford, and Phil Collins. By gee, they won the Rucks hands down today. A brilliant effort.
It was those players that they'd done their homework, and those players sort of said, right, look, you've got 4 players, and we'll be watching out for those 4 players. There was Taddy Parsons, probably not a dominant force until this last quarter.
Bronny Reid on the wing.
Bronny Reid was going to be a sort of a threat, and Bronny Reid...
And players had been out of it most of the day. It really came in. Brian Oster's last quarter, outstanding. Rod Parsons, fantastic. Chris Hams with 5 goals. Brenton McDonald, wonderful play. Wayne Kavanagh, experience, ability.
You have to go through the whole side. Ricky Belford for his effort when he came on.
Brenton Smith, halfback flank. Cliff Flower, probably very disappointed at being taken off the ground, but Cliff's got a very, very big future ahead of him, and it's his efforts that have got us this far so far this year, and really was a wonderful effort. And we'll probably take a break now and come back for the boys to have their lap of honour.
I think so, and thanks.
And I hope this works out as well as you, and I hope it does, Chris.
Yeah.
It's been great talking to you, and it's their turn to do the right thing tonight, and we can misbehave.
And let's get out there.
Let's do it, buddy.